So first we're looking at the decks here from James. James is bringing the Blissey, and we see has got that the Hoopa EX in there, and then also has the Survival Brace as well, and the TM Devo. So it's got the Brace, Hoopa EX for the Mirror Match tech, and Survival Brace as the A spec of choice here. No Energy Lotto is interesting. Does still have the Vessel. 2 Turbo Energize, so Turbo Energize build, of course. But I think that's the way every Blissey is built right now, so everyone's got the Turbo Energize, right? Deck number 2 is the Raging Bolt with the Ogre Paw. Now, both players did bring the same archetypes. So, Raging Bolt with the Ogre Paw brought the Wonder Box, actually, as the A-Spec. I don't know if James is just trying to be cheeky with that, or actually thinks that is the better play over the Prime Catcher. But it does find a lot of things, right? You get your Bravery Charm, it gets your Sada, you can hit it off Pokestop, and then it gets you an item card too, right? You might need the Switch card, you might need the Super Rod, you might want the Pal Pad, and it is an Ogre Pawn build with the Raging Ball as well. So you got the 4 Ogre Pawns in there. Of course, it's gonna be a pretty aggressive deck. Has the Squawkabilly and stuff like that. We're seeing like Squawkabilly start to finally make its comeback, I guess, with this deck. We haven't seen Squawkabilly in a little while. So yeah, the Wonder Box is definitely interesting for sure. The Wonder Box is definitely an interesting inclusion here from James. Deck number 3 is a Dragapult build. Going with the Dragapult Xatu here. And nothing too crazy else besides that, right? Has the Enhanced Hammer over the Sinnoh. A couple vacuums, actually 2 vacuums. Unfair Stamp as the A-Spec of choice. I've seen everything as far as the A-Spec goes in here. I've seen the Unfair Stamp. I've seen the Neo Upper Energy. I've seen Prime Catcher. There's another one in there I think I've seen as well. I can't remember what the last one is. Yeah, I'm not. The last one is. I'm trying to blank on the last one, but. And then the Greninja, and it's going with a Frostlass build. Oh, Scoop Up Cyclone. Yeah, I've seen Scoop Up Cyclone in there as well. And then Greninja is the last one here, and is going with a Frostlass build as well. So the draw power in this deck is pretty weak. There's not that much draw power in this deck. But you do have, of course, the attack from the Greninja, super efficient, only needs the 1 water energy, and then finds your deck, searches your deck for any 1 card. So you got that going for you in there, of course. So you got that going. And then let's take a look at the decks here from Jake. Once again, a Blissey build. This one is interesting. I haven't seen this in a Blissey deck yet, and honestly, I completely forget what Hatterene VMAX's ability does. I'm gonna look it up real fast. Yeah, I completely forget what Hatterene VMAX's ability does. Once in your turn, you may move up to 2 damage counters from your Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay, so it's like another. It's an attacker as well. Your opponent's active is not confused. Hits for 150. Has 320 HP. Okay. Yeah, Hatterene VMAX in here. Jake in chat. Apparently, it's the counter for the Greninja matchup, which makes sense. I think this would have a pretty good time up against Greninja for sure. Hatterene VMAX in here. Couple Lotto, Super Rod. Yeah, nothing too crazy here for that. Besides the Hatterene. No, nothing too crazy in this Blissey build besides the Hatterene. Of course, the Hatterene is interesting. That's for sure. Also brought Dragapult. Like I said, both players are bringing the exact same archetypes. But it's Dragapult Charizard here for Jake. Brought the Charizard as the backup to the Dragapult. No Xatu, no Pidgeot. Of course, the Dracloaks are their own draw power. And it is a heavy rare candy build as well. 4 rare candy. So not going the TM Evo route to get the Dracloaks in play. Maximum Belt as the A-Spec of choice. Interesting. There's a Lance in there as well. Lance is pretty cool, of course. All right. Yeah, so that's the Dragapult there from Jake. Is bringing a Greninja build as well, but it's a lot different, a lot more different than the one than the one that James is bringing. Also, both players are aware that Greninja is currently bugged on PTCG Live, so we're playing with the bug where if you do 120 damage even if you have a double turbo energy on your Greninja. You're supposed to only do 100, but it is currently bugged. But hopefully not going to be a big deal in any of the play that comes up. But both players are aware the bug exists, so we'll be playing around the idea of the bug existing. But yeah, this build, a lot of draw power in here. Pidgeot, B-Barrel. And we're actually seeing people switch back to the Bidoof with the 70 HP. Also playing the 70 HP Froakies as well. I noticed that in James's build as well. Had 70 HP Froakies. And the last deck here for Jake is a Raging Bolt build. Has the Ogerpon, of course. Is going with the Prime Catcher. No Wonder Box here for Jake. Going with the Prime Catcher, which is the more standard A-Spec inclusion for sure. And then has the Sandy Shocks in there as well as a more aggressive turn 1 attacker, which I guess the Sandy Shocks is that much better with Ogerpon now, right? It's like a really easy turn 1 attacker to actually utilize on that first turn. Hey, the Sandy Shocks is actually kind of cool. I actually really like that. Because the Ogerpon can accelerate the energy in play. And then, yeah, you can just attack the Sandy Shocks. You don't even need a Sada, theoretically, right? That's pretty cute, actually. That's pretty cute. Okay, those are the 4 decks for both players. Shocks is so you don't get walled by Mimikyu. Oh, yeah, I guess you also don't get walled by Mimikyu as well. Format, just so you guys understand how Conquest works once again. Basically, what happens is both players are bringing 4 decks. You have to win once with each deck. Once you win with the deck, you can no longer bring the deck. The 4 archetypes both players brought was Blissey, Raging Bolt, Greninja, and Dragapult. They had to bring Twilight Masquerade decks, or decks that were overly heavily influenced by Twilight Masquerade, like the Raging Bolt. And that's where we're here right now. Can the players bet on themselves, or is that insider trading? It's a good question, actually. Oh, we got the Blissey mirror off the start. So this is actually James plays the Hoopa, I believe, right? James plays the Hoopa. So has a way to 1-hit KO. James plays the Hoopa, so has a way to 1-hit KO the Blisseys. But Jake plays the whatever that card is called. The VMAX, the Hatterini VMAX, which 1-hit KOs Hoopa. So this could actually get kind of interesting, to be honest. We have back and forth between the Hoopa and the Hatterini, I guess. I don't actually know how this is going to go, to be honest. We'll see. Yeah, I'm not sure where this is going to go. We do have Jake going first. Did open the Chansey. He's going to go get another Chansey. Got to develop those into the Blisseys as soon as possible. And then did get the double attachment for turn. Or the double turbo attachment for turn, which is big for setting up for that turn 2 attack here and drawing cards. Hatterini giving up 3 prize cards, though. Yeah, but Hatterini doesn't get 1-hit KO'd in the matchup or anything like that. All right, the Hoop is here, not prized. A little bit of an energy check. And then it's a little bit more prize checking coming here from James. Oh, I should have switched over to Jake for Jake's turn. I didn't even realize I wasn't on the right side here. Oh, I guess there's the TM Devo. Because the TM Devo actually could matter in the mirror, right? Because you can just punch, move damage. I guess like one thing that I discovered yesterday when playing a Blissey mirror was that Quad Monkey was pretty good in the mirror. Quad Monkey Dory was pretty good in the mirror. Jake plays Quad Monkey Dory. James only plays 3 Monkey Dory. Does have the Hoopa, like we mentioned, but doesn't have that extra Monkey Dory. That's a lot of Ultra Balls to discard. You see, James is a little bit unsure about how many Ultra Balls to give up here, but does end up giving up all of them. 3 Ultra Balls down. It'll be a little bit harder to find your Blisseys now, for sure. The Blisseys are going to be a little bit harder to find. Double chance he makes his way to the bench and does attach to the bench here from James, so is content with that, but did draw into the Turbo Energize. Actually, James had the Turbo Energize play there if he had attached active. That's kind of risky, though. I don't think you want to do that. You could also just like not attach here as James and waited to see what you drew into. But you should be pretty safe to have gone with that attachment there. And then I didn't even see James click pass. Did James disconnect? Maybe I missed it. We're over to Jake now, though. And Jake does have the potential for a turn 2 attack here and does find the Arven to get there. I assume we're just going to see Arven for Ultra Ball. And then I guess you could grab the... Ooh, there's a skateboard. There's no Rigid Band here. So Rigid Band prize for Jake. I'm pretty sure Jake did play the Rigid Band. Oh, no, Jake doesn't play the Rigid Band, actually. No tanky tool card for the Blissey. Does have the Scoop Up Cyclone as the A-Spec as well. So I guess you just get the... Oh, wait, is not grabbing Ultra Ball here. Oh, so is going to go with the Turbo Energize here. Interesting. So Value's getting off the Turbo Energize here. searches out that Hatterini. The thing is, there's nothing forcing James to use Hoopa until maybe like the end of the game, to be honest. So values the extra energy in play more heavily than just attacking turn 2. That definitely is interesting. I was thinking we would just be swinging here from Jake, because did have the attach plus Ultra Ball for Blissey, but instead playing a little bit slower here. Now, where does this energy go, I guess, is a question here for Jake. Thinking about attaching to the Monkey Dory. Ends up on the Chansey. Has the escape board that can be put in play as well. The question is, like, do you mind it getting shuffled back to the deck? And honestly, in this situation, you maybe don't mind it getting shuffled back to the deck here as Jake, because then you could, like, Arvin for it later to Ultra Ball it away. So it could, like, build up a little bit more, a couple more cards in your hand. But Jake is going with that Turbo Energize. Is attaching the escape board as well. Psychic is making its way to the Hatterini. And then the bench Chansey is going to have 2 energy, just like the active Chansey here. But the only way for Jake to draw cards next turn is with that research, which does mean Jake would lose a Charon's Care. All right, over to James. Actually, James can't move the Monkey Dory. So James is also going to have to follow up with a little bit of a slower turn here, it feels like, and just go with the Turbo Energize, which I'm sure Jake is happy to see. Actually, I don't even know if... Does James even play the escape board? I don't know if... No, James also plays the escape board. Okay. Or the rescue board, excuse me. Energy being moved to the active. Still probably wants to attach for turn. We'll probably see the double turbo get attached here. I can't imagine you wouldn't attach it, but maybe James feels differently for some reason. And we'll probably just see some dark energy get accelerated to the Blissies. Has this Nest Ball, of course, that could go find something, but you might just wait on it. Ooh, actually is favoring the dark energy here from James. Okay. Not attaching the double turbo. Of course, you can just attach the double turbo next turn. I don't know if that makes like a huge difference one way or another, to be honest. It does get the dark energy and play to combo with Hoopa, I guess. And now the energy is being loaded on the Blissies. All right, so both players taking the turn to use the Turbo Energize. No turn to attack from either player. So it does give Jake the opportunity to swing first here. Like I said, does have to play research and does have to give up a Charon's Care, though, which doesn't feel great. Did find the Blissey, though. Got another double turbo. Looks fine here to me. Probably would have liked another, just failing the Nest Ball. Okay, failing the Nest Ball just to draw more cards. Probably would have liked another Blissey, though, to protect some of that energy on that bench Chansey. Does need to move one of those dark energy up. And then actually, what is the attack from the Hatterene? You probably want the... Would you attach the double turbo? Yeah, to the Hatterene this turn. That makes sense. That makes sense. And you are getting the KO here as Jake. But actually, in this situation, James could actually... Oh, no, not quite. For some reason, I thought Blissey's attack did 200 damage. I was like, James could actually KO the Hatterene V off the bench because it only has 200 HP. But no, Blissey's attack with 3 basic energy does 180. And Jake actually going to hold the double turbo energy for later. That's interesting. I don't know why we'd need to hold it. Could have attached it, I feel like, to the Hatterene. Could have probably attached it to the Hatterene. Oh, actually, another thing. Actually, I don't know if it's prize or not, though, here from James. We do see Jake in the first prize card is an Artisan. James does play the Survival Cast. So James could go like Hoopa plus Survival Cast and then knock out Hoopa plus Survival Cast and knock out a Blissey and not put any damage in play for the Survival Cast to be like preemptively broken. Basically, that would be actually interesting. Doesn't spell for our Chansey. Could play the Super Rod, but maybe you want to like you actually maybe want to be able to recover your Hoopa, to be honest. So we're just gonna go for the draw for 4 and punch into this Blissey. Another Blissey would be great to protect the Chansey next turn. Let's see what Jake has got. Or not Ultra Ball. Boss here would be pretty good. Honestly, the hand here kind of sucks for Jake. It doesn't really have anything going. No Charon's Care to heal. Of course, you can heal a potential 90 with the Monkey Dories. Like, you can heal a potential 90 here from the Monkey Dories. This is where you'd want 4 Monkey Dory in play, though. So you could, like, heal 120 off your active and just KO the Monkey Dory off the bench. Or even the Chansey, to be honest. Even the Chansey, to be honest, would be also decent. All right. Chances are here. Just going to go with the Iono. Doesn't even attach one of the double turbos. Koopa. Oh, did find the Scuba Cyclone, so could actually heal this Blissey. But didn't attach a double turbo to the onto the bench. So he's just going with some Monkey Dory healing. I guess you just move it to the active here. Maybe. Where does this damage go? The bench Blissey? But then that allows James to Charon's Care the active Blissey and then heal the bench Blissey, right? That's one thing I still need to figure out with this matchup, to be honest. I just don't know where it's correct to put your damage, like, ever. I guess it kind of does come down to, you just play as if they... Do you always like play as if they never have Charon's Care, and then if they have it, sure, I guess. Still has the Psychic in hand that could be attached. Once again, choosing to not attach the energy. Nope, is going to make its way into the Blissey. It looks like. But it is going to give up on this active Blissey here. Like, it is just, this active Blissey is just going to get KO'd on the next turn. Yeah, there's the attach to the Blissey EX. And there we go. Punchy active for 160. And then draw, what, 2 cards here? I could have played this Koopa Cyclone there. Chose not to, which was interesting. Does have room for the Quad Monkey Dory on the bench on the following turn now, though. All right, over to James. Oh, I guess the Quad... Oh, at least you can get the Hatterini involved, though, as well. And you can heal 110 damage. Oh, yeah, Hatterini VMAX. Oh, I didn't even think about that. You can do, like, Hatterini VMAX plus triple Monkey Dory. And then that heals... That can KO an opposing Monkey Dory on the bench there, actually. Oh, no, because the Hatterini moves to the active, right? Has to move to the active. All right. What the heck do you do here as James? Has the Charon's Care. So could Charon's Care the active, heal the bench. That seems to make the most sense to me, to be honest. Like, you could go Blissey, and you could use the active Blissey to move the dark off the active to a bench Monkey Dory. Move a dark energy from this Blissey to the other Monkey Dory. Heal the 60 off the bench. And then double turbo to the bench one after that, and then fully heal the benched one, and then Charon's Care the active. I guess you can still do that no matter what, because you can... I think you'd want to attach a double turbo energy, right? You do have 3 ways to move the basic energy here. So I guess you could keep more dark energy in play, but I feel like you'd want the double turbo on the Blissey, though. Because the Charon's Care chain can happen here from James. And you can KO the active as well. Oh, he's going with the boss, though. Okay, so he's trying to remove the threat of the Hatterini. And I don't know where Jake's Super Rod is currently. Has Jake used the Super Rod yet? I'm actually not sure. Maybe has, though. If there's no Super Rod, the threat of the Hatterini is gone. And with the threat of the Hatterini being gone, James can, like, freely put... I don't like the heal placement here from James, though. I feel like James should have healed the damage off the bench Blissey, not the active Blissey. Because the active Blissey gets KO'd here no matter what. But then the Hoopa's one... It's where the Hoopa can make a big appearance. Do some damage. Draw a couple cards. There we go. Now we're back over to Jake. What's the play here from Jake? Just a fresh Blissey. I guess you could send up this one, heal off the bench Blissey, and then heal again on the following turn. This forces both Monkey on active. But it's the same thing, isn't it? Godmaster plays it's the same thing. If you heal the damage off the bench, it would force 1 Monkey to the active and 1 Monkey to the bench. I guess it's the same thing no matter what, though, right? I guess it's like kind of the same thing no matter what. Yeah, I guess it maybe gives like Jake less flexibility. I'm actually not even sure. Does it? There's a lot of burn. Has the attachment. There's the Hatterini VMAX. Man, setting all this stuff up is like not that big of a hassle, but it'd be so cool if there were just like literally a spectate. You could just spectate in client. That'd be so dope if you could just spectate in client. All right, here comes the monkeys. Wait, does it even make sense from Jake to have sent up this Blissey? Can Jake even attack this turn and KO the active? Oh, no, you can, because you can attack with a triple basic energy. A triple basic energy Blissey here, I guess. Yeah, okay. It still works. This mirror is pretty intricate. It's definitely interesting. I think they're like, once it's like, I haven't figured it out personally yet, but once you figure it out, it's probably, I mean, everything becomes pretty flowcharty once you understand everything. But 4 Monkey Dory is definitely good in the mirror. After playing a mirror the other day, 4 Monkey Dory is definitely good in the mirror, that's for sure. Which is something that Jake has that James doesn't. James is only playing 3 Monkey Dory. That's like a potential advantage here, to be honest. Arc Intel Mirror reimagined. It's more intricate than that, though, for sure. All right, there's the knockout. Drawing some cards. And we're going back over to James. 3 prize cards left here for Jake, but this is where the Hoopa can come online. Are we going to see the Hoopa happen here? There's a send up of the Blissey. Does have a Charon's Care to work with. Actually, had Arvin, could have sent up a Monkey Dory and then Arvined. And then used the Arvin to get like... Oh, wait. Play Switch. James plays a Switch. The Hoopa can happen this turn. But do you Hoopa this turn? Because there's still damage in play on... why not move from one monkey to another? Yeah, I think Jake could have healed more damage there, though. But actually, the problem is if Jake heals that damage now, then Jake doesn't have a way to break the survival brace. Like, you want a way to, like, be able to deal with the brace, I think. But maybe you just go for the 2 prize cards here as James. He's going for a counter catcher instead, so it might just be going to chase... Oh, go chase the damaged bench Blissey this turn. And then you have the survival brace for next turn, I guess. Because if you KO this, there's no damage for Jake to work with to break the brace. Which is interesting. Dude, the mirror match is a headache. This mirror match is a headache for sure. I guess you need to play the Switch, though, right? If you're going to play Hoopa, you have to play a Switch. Yeah, you have to play a Switch if you're gonna do that. All right. Attach active, gets the knockout, draws 4 cards. What does Brace do? Is it like Focus Sash? It is literally Focus Sash, yeah. It's putting on the active here, actually, from James. Not saving it for the Hoopa? Wait, no, I guess you don't have to save it for the Hoopa anymore because the Hatterini's not a threat, right? Yeah, actually, yeah, because now that the Hatterini's not a threat, the Blissey can never one-hit KO the Hoopa anyways. I guess it makes sense. There's the draw. Has the Arvin. Yeah, so James just wins in 2 attacks here with the Hoopa. We could see an Iono from Jake, but Jake doesn't have endless Ionos. So I feel like James will eventually draw into the Hoopa play. Let's go over to Jake and see what he can do. Yeah, I think with the lack of Hatterini here at this point, I think James or Jake might be cooked. Does find the Super Rod here. So if we could see like Super Rod plus Iono here from Jake, I guess it is maybe possible for Jake to set up the Hatterini. But I don't even know if that ever makes a difference. He's going after the Hatterini here. And thinking about the Psych Energy. So he's trying to reestablish the Hatterini. But James only has 2 prize cards left. So if James ever attacks with the Hoopa, the Hatterini doesn't really matter anymore, I don't think. I guess it has more HP. It doesn't have that much more HP, though. Doesn't Matterini? Yeah, I don't think the Hatterini matters at this point. I think, yeah, James getting that KO in the mid game on the Hatterini set it to the point where you don't have to worry about that responding to your Hoop anymore. I think that just like kind of set it up. Goes with a boss here on a Monkey Dory to remove an energy from play, but that means James just has game in hand, I think, with the Hoopa. How much damage is Hoopa doing again? It's 50 for each energy, right? Yeah. I think James is about to lock up game 1 here. Jake thinking about putting the double turbo on the active Blissey here and then maybe moving some of the basic energy off to the bench. Yeah, I was going to go with that, it looks like. Moving energy off the active to the bench. Attach the double turbo to the active. And then here comes the attack to draw 1 card. It does have Arvin and Charon's Care in hand to work with next turn. Goodbye, Monkey Dory. But I think James is going to lock this up with the mirror match tech of the Hoopa. Checking for the mirror, paying off big time here for James. As James is going to get the dub with the Hoopa here at the end. Artist on first should probably confirm everything's in the deck. There's the switch. Is there a nest ball in there left? I think there was, right? Nest ball plus the rescue board. And yeah, Hoopa's going to close it out here for James. The tech pays off big time. Because you never know. That's the thing about like teching for the mirror in this format. You never know if the tech cards are going to matter at all or not. Because you might just not hit the matchup, right? You might just not hit the matchup. And there we go. Energy Crush. Knock out the Blissey. Goodbye. James gets the dub here in game 1. And we already have Jake already, as the game is closing out. Jake already knows what he's sending up next. Jake is choosing second head into the next game. So Blissey gone for James. So James can send up Greninja, Dragapult, or the Raging Bolt. Jake's ready to go. I'm sure Jake already knows what he's sending up then. Now James has to pick what he's sending up. I guess Jake probably should have said what he's going until James had locked in his deck choice. I think it's mainly attack from Miraidon, which is one of Blissey's worst matchups. Oh, that's true. It is good against Miraidon as well, I guess. That is fair, yeah. That is fair. Azul, do they have to announce first or second before deck choice? That's insanely relevant. They're supposed to lock in decks before they're supposed to say first or second as the challenge is happening. I'm going to clarify that for future games. It won't be it's not a huge deal. All right, so James going with the Raging Bolt. Jake here, we're not quite sure. Pretty good start here for James, though. Double Vessel has a Nest Ball to work with as well to probably go and get Greninja. So we can see like Vessel away Lightning to get Fighting Grass, Vessel away of Fighting. It looks like we have Raging Bolt Mirror actually going down. James brought the Raging Bolt. So did Jake. So another mirror match already happening. As they both decide to queue up Raging Bolt here into the second game. And Jake choosing second with the deck is interesting. I don't know if that's correct or not, to be honest. I have no clue. Couldn't tell you. James immediately into the Vessel and then goes with the draw here from the Ogre Pawn. Trying to maximize the outs to drawing basic Pokemon. Found the Wonder Box off the rip. Are we going to see a fast Wonder Box? We could. Doesn't have to use it quite yet. James, of course, knows that it is a mirror match going down here. Probably wants to just try and retreat into a one-prizer here if you're James. That's probably the goal here, is retreat to a one-prize Pokemon. Greninja's prized! Oh no, that's huge! James with no Greninja, that's the best source of draw power in the deck. Now what do you do here as James? No Greninja. Thinking about going for another Ogre Pawn. Is the hand so good that you don't want to grab a Raging Bolt is a question here for sure. Is eyeing up the pawn. Gonna go ahead and draw again here off the Ogre Pawn. And the lack of Greninja is definitely not good. And that basically telegraphs it to Jake that the Greninja is probably prized. That basically telegraphs it over to Jake. Did hit a Raging Bolt here for James. And you could retreat to the Raging Bolt here as James. You could retreat to the Raging Bolt. It's a little bit harder to KO than the Ogre Pawn. It does need, the 4 energy from the Raging Bolt to actually get the 1-hit KO. Gives up on a Pokegear here, so definitely eyeing up that Wonder Box for next turn. Can get that manual attachment down as well to the Raging Bolt. Doesn't play Heavy Ball. Yeah, no Heavy Ball in the list here for James. Does have the Wonder Box, but yeah, no Heavy Ball to find off of it. But he's going actually into the Wonder Box. That's a lot of energy to give up. No attachment for turn then, I don't think. There's the Sada Grab. Bravery Charm. Oh, you get another Pokestop. I forgot you got a Stadium. I forgot you got a Stadium as well. Wonder Box seeing some action. Love to see it. Going for Stop. What do we end up on Stop? What was the item grab there? And of course, gonna grab the Sada there for sure. Uh-oh. We might have a bug out here. Oh. James's card list is off by 1 card. All right, so yeah, James's list is incorrect by a card, apparently. James only plays 2 Stop in the list that I was sent. But we're just going to continue to play on. It's not a big deal. And James will let Jake... James is not sure what card is the difference here, but we'll let... So went with a Nest Ball there for the item. Okay. So we got 2 Raging Bolts now. Yeah, so incorrect list here for James, but Jake said it's fine. It's not a big deal. Oh, ends up on the Billy. Wait, then why did we grab a Sada here? Dude, James is all over the place. All right, drew back into double Sada. Can't complain, I guess. Another Raging Bolt on the way. That's so funny. James is like, I have Nest Ball. You know, you could go get it. I guess you want to play the Wonder Box no matter what. But then you probably shouldn't grab a Sada to discard a Sada. Yeah, James all over the place in this one so far. The Raging Bolts are here. Like I said, I assume you want to retreat to the Raging Bolt with the tool card. Actually, the 290 is really big. The 290 is actually that would be hard for Jake to get a one-hit KO on. But does have this one prizer in the active, which is going to be hard for James to get around, to be honest. He's thinking about just not attaching to the active here as well. Probably just in case it does get KO'd, but I thought 290 is a lot. I don't think Jake's going to get a turn 1 290, but the deck does play a lot of draw power, so. And also, to be honest, James did mulligan like 3 times. So there's like that many extra cards here for Jake to work with. There's that many extra cards here for Jake to work with to potentially get off that turn 1 attack. Prize checking first here from Jake. And the hand actually looks decent here for Jake as well. Is short. Why does Bolt play Charm instead of Capsule? So you can put it on like your Ogre Pawns and stuff to protect them in, or Squawkabilly. You get to like protect the HP of the other Pokemon. 3 energy in hand. Has Sada. Has Ogre Pawn. So we'll probably just see Ogre Pawn first here to try and draw into some more basics. Didn't get the fighting energy. I feel like the play here for Jake is definitely just... Oh, was there anything about going into the Nest Ball? Nope. I think Ogre Pawn first here makes more sense. You want to find some basics potentially off this. Does get that Raging Bolt. And we could see the Nest Ball here to go get Greninja. Get rid of another energy. Oh, the Greninja is priced here for Jake as well. Wait, do either of these players play Greninja? Maybe they don't play Greninja. No, both players play Greninja. Both players have prized the Greninja, though. So, evened up here, I guess, a little bit with that. Pokegear, not a bad card if you're trying to chain Sadas. But Jake might not want it. Goes without it. Another Nest Ball, though. That's pretty good. Can't keep Greninja, of course. Jake plays the Hisuian Heavy Ball. That is true. Yeah, Jake does have Hisuian Heavy Ball, so we'll potentially be able to access it later. Also plays it up with Squawkabilly. And is eyeing up a Billy here, actually. Still has Sada that could be played, though. Is there a fighting energy in the discard pile here for Jake or not? I wonder if Jake should have waited on this Nest Ball here until after the Sada. Because like I said, I don't think Jake is going for a one-hit KO here. I don't think Jake is going for a one-hit KO here. It's probably just going with a punch with the Sandy Shocks. And does have that punch set up. Now, there's an attach to a Raging Bolt. Another Raging Bolt coming down. The question is, where does Bravery Charm go? Could put on the active to require 1 more energy to KO the active. Or could make its way to a bench. And in this matchup as well, you definitely just want to take 2 prize knockouts. You just want to be taking 2 prize knockouts as aggressively as possible. And when you're not taking a 2 prize knockout, you want a 1 prizer in your active, which is what Jake has here. Has this Sandy Shocks in the active, which will also be able to do some damage and set up for a 2-hit KO on a 2 prizer, but only having a 1 prizer in your active is pretty good here. So I think James is already in a really, really tough spot. I think James is really, really on the back foot here. Because there's no opportunity here for James to go for a boss KO, and has this Raging Bolt in the active. And also, James's only 1 prize Pokemon, James's only 1 prize Pokemon is a Greninja. And the Greninja is prized. Almost a mistake there from James by putting the wrong energy on the active. He's going to go for that double lightning. So we'll be able to KO this active here, but I think Jake's content with that for sure. Definitely content with that. Has an attachment for turn, has a Vessel in hand, could go find some more grass energy to accelerate into play with these Ogre Pawns. Is just going to settle for the knockout, though, here, it looks like. Giving it some thought. Honestly, I kind of like the Sandy Shocks. I kind of like the Sandy Shocks in this deck just for... I like the Sandy Shocks here from Jake, just as another ancient card in the deck, because you can like run out of Raging Bolt to actually accelerate to with your Sadas. But having that like gives you like more outs. Another Ogre Pawn is found here for, and honestly, why not put it in play, right? Accelerate some more energy. Dude, this deck has this is energy right here. This is crazy. Only 15 cards left in the deck here for James as well. Oh, you have to discard. Yeah, you have to discard 3 energy to KO this thing. So we're definitely getting rid of the 2 off the active, and then 1 of these grasses, right? Oh, it's leaving some energy on the active. There's no way you leave 2 on the active. I think you get rid of 2 off the active here as James, to be honest. You're assuming your active is going to get KO'd here, right? I think with the idea of trying to preserve as much energy in play as possible, I would like to see James get rid of both energy off the active, I feel like. He's going to try and leave that 1 on the active, though, just in case, I guess. It's just so likely that it goes down. It's almost like 100% that it goes down here. All right. Over to Jake. Doesn't have Asada. Does have some draw power here with the Ogre Pawns. And doesn't actually have a fighting energy yet either. Actually, Jake could whiff. Okay, there's a Pokegear. There also might be a fighting energy in the discard pile. I'm not sure. I want Jake to check the discard pile before playing this. There's the attach. Gonna throw out the Pokestop. And then just go with the Iono. Okay. Not even check the gear for the potential Asada. Just going for that raw attach. Ooh, this hand is not great from Jake. If James has a follow-up KO here, things could start to look pretty rough. Thinking about going in with the Pokestop. There's a Pokegear on the bottom of the deck, though. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like shuffling the deck. Also get a basic out of the deck here in that Ogre Pawn, which is on the top half of the deck. Shuffle it up, and shuffle that Pokegear back into the deck that was on the bottom half. You're also giving the Pokestop over to James here as Jake by putting it in play, but I feel like for the situation... Ooh, the Heavy Ball's huge! That can go find that Greninja. Get some concealed cards, draw action, check all the... Ooh, 2 Sada prize! And 2 energy. Those would be good prize cards to potentially pull here for Jake. Yeah, you definitely want to find the Sada off the prize cards here. But the Greninja off the Heavy Ball here is huge for Jake. That's some good draw power. You wanted some kind of draw power here. Also, a Super Rod was priced there as well, right? Super Rod's probably not as big of a deal. You really want those. You really want one of those Sadas off the prize cards here from Jake when you go to draw the prize cards. Concealed is going down. I'm not sure. One of these is probably better than the other. I think there was a fighting and a lightning prize here for Jake, so it shouldn't matter which one you get rid of here, to be honest. Found a grass. We can draw a little bit more with the Ogre Pawn here as well. There we go. And did prize 2 Sada, but did just draw into 1 there, so not going to be a big deal. I guess like what could happen here, though, is James could Iono. Like, Jake could like even pull a Sada off the prize cards, and they could both get Iono to the bottom of the deck. Of course, you'd want to Iono, get that into your deck still, so increase the odds of your Pokegears finding it. Just has to get rid of 3 here. Is actually keeping the 2 on the one Ogre Pawn on the bench. But now the Ogre Pawn with 2 energy on it could be boss KO'd here. I don't know if I like that play here from Jake, to be honest. I feel like Jake maybe should have remove that grass energy from the Ogre Pawn that has 2. Got the Super Rod and the Sada there. James will definitely probably be able to get this KO this turn. But, and yeah, with the hand, James does not really have anything else to work with here. This is it. Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, but we know the Greninja is prized here for James. So can't find Greninja. The Nest Ball's happening. Do you even grab the Ogre Pawn here? I guess you can draw 1 card, right? You can draw 1 card here as James. Honestly, you probably shouldn't even played the Nest Ball here as James. You probably should have Ultra Balled away the Nest Ball and the Pokestop to thin the Ogre Pawn out of the deck. Will James get punished here and draw into the Ogre Pawn? Nope. Palpat's not bad. It's not going to do anything this turn. And you probably actually don't want to even... that's actually tough. Do you want to play the Palpat this turn to increase your odds of drawing into a Sada? Or do you wait to use Pokestop to try and find a Pokegear to then Palpat into the Sada? All right, here comes. What do you need? 3 or how many do you need here? 4? 4 is so much. All right, there it is, though. Does get the knockout. Now it's over to Jake, who's going to need 5. 5 to get this return KO. Will still be ahead on the prize exchange, though. And does have a decent amount of energy in play. And double Sada in hand. Like, wait, this hand for Jake is just crazy good. Jake's hand is just insane. This is a good one. This is a good hand. Has a backup Raging Ball to guaranteed accelerate 2 energy in play as well. If anything, you might want to Super Rod the grass back to the deck, but you maybe just wait as well. I was thinking about actually even opening up with the Super Rod. I guess you could also like recover. Thinking about playing the Nest Ball is just going to go ahead and play it just for the fail. 1 grass in the deck. Is there a Vessel in hand here for Jake? There is a Vessel. So you could Super Rod back the grass and maybe the Raging Bolt, or maybe he's playing the Super Rod. So does potentially want to draw into energy here, I guess. or increase the odds of drawing the energy, because you could just start with Sada here as Jake, which I almost kind of like better. I feel like, because what would you even recover here? 2 energy and a Pokemon? Because you want to, I think you just start with the Sada here as Jake. I kind of like the Sada start. Jake's thought about it a little bit. Maybe you could even, I guess there's Pokestop is like a possibility as well. Pokestop's not a bad choice here. Build through your deck a little bit more. There's a Sada for 2. So much energy recovery in the hand now. Could play the Super Rod. Get back a Grass. Get back the Fighting probably as well. And then something else. I would say, I mean, that's actually the thing with this situation though. You know if James is going to take a knockout extra, and James has to play Sada and can't Iono you. So maybe you're not that worried about getting that much extra energy in play, to be honest. He's going to go with the Retrieval action instead of the Super Rod. And does get that Grass back to use with an Ogre Pawn. Could have actually Vesseled here as well and just got another Grass out of the deck. Now you could draw into it, I guess. That shouldn't be that big of a deal one way or the other, I guess. Also, concealed cards could have happened, I guess, here as well from Jake, and then Super Rodded like 3 energy back to the deck, and then you could have Vesseled for 2 Grass and just built up a bunch of Grass energy in play. Because I assume you actually kind of want to, like, on the attack here from Jake, you'd like to just discard mostly, like, 1 energy. Like, you could discard 4 Grass off the bench, and then the Fighting and Lightning off the active. It's going to go with both energy off the active. I guess maybe that is correct, because you know James doesn't have Prime Catcher. So, you know, like, yeah, James can't, like, knock out the benched Raging Bolt here very efficiently. All right, 2 prize cards left for Jake. Only attackers left for James are 2 prizers. The Greninja, I think, is still priced here, actually, for James. So it doesn't have the Greninja yet, even if he wanted it. Ogre Pawn is actually being pushed up here. Is it going to be an Ogre Pawn attack? There's a Bug Catching Net. That's out to some Grass energy. And he's going for the Pokestop first. Or I guess you net first, right? It's a whiff. Into the Pokestop to hope to hit a Pokegear. And then you Palpad back the Sadas. Just a Switch Cart. Now it's Palpad back. Iono Boss. Oh, wait. James has got... How is James going to tackle this situation, actually? Isn't actually going for attack with Raging Bolt. He's probably looking for a... I guess he's going to punch here with... Yeah, this actually might be James' only route to victory, though, actually. I don't hate this. Just punch with the Ogre Pawn into the active here. And then hope James doesn't have the return knockout. Did find a Sada there. Or maybe not. Now that way that... There's a Boss's Orders as well. Is going with the Sada. The Fighting... I mean, you should probably go Fighting to 1, Lightning to the other, just in case you draw into a Fighting or a Lightning. I don't know what's left in the deck here for James. So can KO the active here. James did draw into the knockout in the end. Yeah, James did draw into the knockout here in the end. And has the Bravery Charm to go with it. But I think Jake, with a 12-card hand, will probably have the return KO with triple Ogre Pawn in play. And, like, yeah, just a lot of other stuff. And at this point, yeah, James may as well just discard off the bench here because you don't really have another route to take anyway. I think James was probably actually looking for Iono that turn, and then KO next turn, I think is probably what James was looking for. Which does make sense, actually. I like that potential route there from James, to be honest. But did with the Iono. And we should be looking at a dub here from Jake to even up the series. There it is. There's the concede. So Jake gets the dub. We even it up 1-1. Raging Bolt gone for Jake. James no longer has access to the Blissey. All right, so we're gearing up for game 3 here. James will get to pick first or second going into this next match. And like I said, decks right now left. Jake has one with the Dragapult now. Or not Dragapult, the Raging Bolt now. And James has one with Blissey. So both those decks are gone for both players here. We need to see what James is going to end up bringing. Because it looks like Jake has queued up Dragapult Charizard. Question is, what is James going to bring in? Not in response to it, but from the decks remaining here for James. What is James going to bring is the question now. I don't know if playing with a friend, the bug is still on. I believe the bug is like in place no matter what, pretty much. Mirror part 3. We could see another mirror match. We could see another mirror match here for sure. It is possible. Definitely possible. We've already hit 2 mirror matches so far. All right, here we go. And James chose second. So Jake will be going first here in this one. So we'll stick on Jake here for this first turn. And we know Jake is bringing the Dragapult, which honestly, it's I don't think Dragapult like hates going first, but it probably prefers second. You just want to like get your basic Pokemon out and set up. Otherwise, you're gonna most likely be doing that on your second turn anyways. It's kind of like Charizard, I assume. It's even like probably more fragile than Charizard though, right? Because you don't just have Candy Charizard swing if you go first. Yeah, Dragapult is definitely more fragile than Charizard, right? Going first, for sure. You definitely would prefer to go second. There's a mulligan for Jake. We're gonna jump over to James real fast. See what James did decide to bring here. So James is bringing the Greninja here. It does have a decent hand here as well. For Jake, open the Luminion, which is not great. Actually, Luminion gets one-hit KO'd by Greninja, which is not good. But does have the Poffin. The Poffin here from Jake is the important part. And I assume we'll just probably see double Dreepy just to set up for draw power. Oh, that is true, though. Jake is actually playing the Charizard build of Dragapult. So it has the potential of, like, Candy Charizard attack. We'll see what Jake ends up going for here. My initial thought was, like, you probably just go for double Dreepy to set up for some draw power. Because, like, trying to play into Candy Charizard off of Iono is not likely to happen anyways. But we'll see what Jake ends up going for. And, like, even getting, like, yeah, double Candy. I guess you do have the Luminion in play. Like, it's not Rotom to draw you cards, but it could lead to the use of the Force Seal Stone. But Jake gonna just lean into the draw power here and get double Dreepy to become double Dracloak potentially next turn. I guess one of them could become a Candy Dragapult, but it wouldn't be attacking for more than 70. And that's if you find Rescue Board and Rescue Board Luminion. But over to James. Ooh, Arven top deck as well. That's double Poffin. So the whole squad is getting set up here for James. See the Snorunt getting grabbed. Roki getting grabbed. And then I assume we'll see... Oh, it's a TM Evo build as well here from James. And does have a double turbo in hand. So could actually pull off a TM Evo and get like 4 Pokemon on the bench here as well. You can also thin out the hand a little bit and go with a Cleffa angle. So there's some options here for James. I'm curious to see what James goes with here. Instantly go for the Arven and goes for the Poffin. So just maximum Pokemon in play here from James. And even like establishing the Frostlass this turn would be kind of cool as well. We're looking at triple Froakie. Double Runt on the bench. I don't think you would go with double Frostlass. I think you'd probably go one Frostlass, one Frogadier here from James. But yeah, the Frostlass will actually start taking damage on the Luminion and the Dracloaks immediately here, which is interesting. Also, James does have this double turbo on the active. This could lead to like Candy Greninja snipe attack next turn. All right, let's see how Jake's going to be able to respond. Buddy Poffin top deck. That's a good start. Is thinking about the Manaphy. Now going to get a Charmander in play as well for that potential of the Charizard here coming up. Maybe he's thinking about giving up on the Manaphy there. Has that Dracloak to work with. And then it has the Iono. Also, the Manaphy gets pressured by the Frostlasses as well, actually, which is interesting. Which can like lead to it getting KO'd actually pretty quickly, to be honest. Ooh! Not a great hand here for Jake. Not a great draw. But does have the Dracloak. Probably should Dracloak before Nestball, though, because the cards went to the bottom of the deck off the... Well, there was like 2 Ionos. Maybe you want to hate an Iono. 4 Seal Stone is found. That could lead to... I mean, it depends. Are you going to retreat the Luminion here, I guess? Because you could just leave it as a 4 Seal Stone and retreat to a Dreepy, to be honest. Maybe that's the better play here for Jake. Actually, does Jake... Let me check here real fast. Jake does play Rotom, so we maybe just see Nestball for Rotom. And do you just leave the Luminion active? Nestball for Rotom does not sound very good, though. Putting those two prizes in play that can just be kind of picked on later. Yeah. All right, 4 Seal Stones happening here. I assume this 4 Seal Stones just to grab another Dreepy. We'll see. He's actually going for an Iono for next turn. Interesting. I thought we'd definitely just see another Dreepy get grabbed here to just draw cards, because that's like a lot of cards to see over 2 turns through a Dreepy. Honestly, I don't even hate the... He's just going to go for the another Drac. I don't even hate like Lance maybe as an option. Oh, did I say Dreepy? I meant Dracloak. What did I say? I don't remember what I said. I meant Dracloak though. Like, Fire and Rare Candy aren't good. I mean, the candy could lead to a Candy Charizard, which I guess is okay. And then the Dreepy does get benched. And I guess the question is, like, do you sacrifice Luminion to potentially increase your odds of... yeah, it does go with the Luminion sacrifice here. All right, the Frostlass going to deal a decent amount of damage into play here. Honestly, if James can get another Frostlass set up, that'll be a lot of damage to work with. The Greninja's in hand. There's the Irida. So has Candy Greninja in the active, but doesn't have... The Manaphy did make its way into play here. But honestly, Irida seems really good here. I mean, I guess you have to play Irida. She only supporter. Get Candy. You also get another Frostlass setup from James here, which seems pretty good. Dude, this is kind of dope. The Frostlass is doing damage. You're building up the damage here for sure. And James's bench isn't under that much threat yet from the spread damage of the Dragapult. You're not under that big of a threat yet. There's the Candy Greninja. All right, and here comes the Shinobi Blade. Takes the knockout on Luminion, and then you get to search your deck for any one card. I honestly have no idea what the card should be. We did see a Snorunt get benched here from James. So James did put himself... thinking about the Arvin. Or the Irida there. So I guess that Snorunt on the bench can now be knocked out by the spread damage here from Dragapult. Which, honestly, maybe you should just grab Unfair Stamp here from James. You could have just grabbed Unfair Stamp knowing your Snorunt's going to get KO'd. That would have been interesting, actually, to be honest. And then if they don't KO it, then you get another Frostlass setup, which still also seems pretty good. Is even that bad for James if Snorunt's KO'd? I mean, it's just kind of a knockout. But then your, like, Frostlasses are being pressured less, so I don't know if it matters too much, to be honest. And the Manaphy's going to get KO'd going into James's turn, right? Doesn't it have 50 on it? I think it has 50 on it, right? So the Manaphy gets KO'd going into James's turn and then has access to the snipe attack on the next turn. Honestly, it seems like James is in a great spot for this scenario. Oh no, it's 30 on the Manaphy, isn't it? I'm actually wrong. It's 30 on Manaphy. Ultra Ball here for Jake. There's the Charizard. So Candy Charizard is possible. So at the very least, could attack with Charizard this turn. Could even Candy Charizard right now and get the energy out of the deck to thin out the deck. So it's just kind of short that Psychic energy from Jake here. Candy's fine, but no attack with... Actually, are the Fire Energy in the deck to even do that attack? I don't know how many Fire Energy are in the deck. One in the hand. One on the Dracloak in the active. How many are in... I don't actually know how many are in the deck. Could Ultra Ball for the third Dracloak here, I guess, and see one more card. That would be something. Because this currently doesn't seem like it's doing it. I don't know how many Fire Energy actually are in this build. I assume it's like, what, 5 or 6? There's plenty in the deck. It does have at least a punch with a Charizard here. That's something. And is eyeing up this Ultra Ball here. You could go get a Dragapult to protect your Dracloaks from still building up more damage from the Frostlasses. But this is actually huge this turn because the thing is still not getting KO'd. The Snorunt's not getting KO'd, so that'll become a third Frostlass, which almost threatens the knockouts on these Dracloaks. The Frostlass is doing work. And now the Charizard is going to be getting damage built up on it as well. There's an Arvin found here from Jake. So that'll find... I mean, there's nothing super big that's going to be able to find, though. I don't even know if there's like a counter catcher, I guess. You could counter catch or something. But you also had Boss in hand that you could have just used instead. Sign up the Enhanced Hammer. I guess that stops the possibility. But there's no Canceling Clone, I believe, in this list from... There's no Canceling Clone, but I guess getting rid of that before your Manaphy goes down would be a big deal, right? But Escape Board and Ultra Ball are actually being lined up here. I guess the Escape Board lets you keep the energy, or the Rescue Board. I keep calling it Escape Board. The Rescue Board lets you keep that energy on your active, which could be a pretty big deal. And then the Ultra Ball does become a Dragapult on the next turn. So this seems pretty decent here from Jake. You preserve the energy. I think, yeah, here comes just a 240 punch. Oh, yeah, James has drawn 2 prize cards, actually. So no KO here from Jake. The Frostlass, once again, building up that damage. And the third Frostlass is going to be established here from James, as well as another Greninja with this Ultra Ball. Dude, James seems like he's in a commanding spot in this one. The prize cards are going to start rolling in so aggressively here through this Frostlass damage buildup. There's 3 Dracloaks in play, and the damage is just building up on them. A little bit of a thought here from James. I'm curious as to what James is thinking about grabbing with this Ultra Ball. Seems like probably just checking prize notes there, figuring out what to grab. Frostlass established, and they've got the water energy as well for the bench Greninja. I can't think of a reason to not attach it there. The only other thing to do here is you could retreat the active Greninja, to be honest, which I kind of like, maybe. Retreat the active Greninja, and then... So, because otherwise your Greninja are going to soon get 1-hit KO range to these Charizards, potentially. Oh, the TM Devo could be huge here later, actually. Well, no, that won't ever like clean up KOs, though, right? Because the Dracloaks... Actually, how much damage is on these Dracloaks? Does the TM Devo actually just KO? Oh, you could have Rescue Board the active and retreat, though. I feel like that would have been a pretty good play here from James. Preserve the... Just make the Charizard have to, like, not be able to 1-hit KO anything. All right, what do you grab here, James? I mean, you know you're getting knocked out this turn, so you could just grab Unfair Stamp and open up your turn with Unfair Stamp, to be honest. Because you know the Dracloak's got to get evolved or you just win, I think. So I kind of like just grabbing Unfair Stamp and just holding Unfair Stamp. And then you Unfair Stamp and you just try and draw into... Because, like, the Eorta's just going to go find you Unfair Stamp anyways. All right. Damage coming in again, once again. Or coming in once again from Frostlass. Go over to Jake. The Manaphy is KO'd. That's pretty scary. Another prize card drawn here for James. Yeah, that's pretty scary here, to be honest. Finally, we see a Dragapult here from Jake. And I believe does play 3 Dragapult. So all the Dracloaks could get evolved here. But even then, there's still the Charmander and the Charizard on board that could be the last 3 prize cards here for James. Got ourselves a Psychic Energy as well. An Iona would be a pretty good draw here, I think, from... Oh, we have the Lance in hand as well. The Lance could become the rest of the Dragapults, I guess. And Manaphy might have to be found as well here from Jake. Arvin could find super... We need to find something off these Dracloaks for sure. They need to find us a useful card. Buddy Poppin can find Manaphy, but we already have a Nest Ball to do that. Gonna settle for the Poffin, it looks like. Okay. Here comes another one. What are we gonna get? Boss and Maximum Belt. Neither of those seem like a big difference maker. Huh. Oh, I guess not retreating to the other Dragapult or the other Greninja did play around Maximum Belt here as James. Otherwise, the Maximum Belt would have been able to KO the benched one. So I guess it did play around that a little bit. Oh, boy. Jake has no great option here, I don't think. I don't think there's a great option here from Jake. I'm trying to come up with what is the play here. I don't know what it is. I don't think the play just might not exist, to be honest. You can evolve all your Dracloaks, but then you still lose to a double turbo energy from James, KOing your Charizard plus your Charmander. Oh yeah, would TM Devo still work? I can't tell how much damage is on these things. Oh, there's also a Dragapult prized. So can't even evolve the full squad. Yeah, TM Devo would work here, right? Because it would KO the Charizard. It would de-evolve both Dragapult. Yeah, TM Devo just wins the game here for James, actually. That's actually crazy. That's hilarious. Because it would KO the Charizard, and then 2 Dragapults would get... Oh, yeah, then 2 Dragapults get KO'd. Yeah, TM Devo literally just wins the game. And Double Turbo also works. Double Turbo works. TM Devo works. James has got quite a few win conditions. Dragapults only have 80 on them, but they'll get more from the Frostlasses. The Frostlass will do the damage. It'll devo them, and then the Frost Blast damage will go through. I don't even know what the correct thing to attack with here from Jake is. You could just hit with Charizard, I guess. It doesn't really matter if you do or don't. I guess you do want to attack with Charizard, so it can't be sniped later, actually, almost. Unless you want to, like, counter catch or kill something at the bench, but that leaves 2 Greninjas in play. I mean, I guess spreading damage could be valuable here, though. Yeah, spreading damage could be valuable as well. He's going with the retreat. He's going to be able to build up the spread damage as well. He's going with the counter catcher. But then you leave the snipe. No, you leave the snipe around. Oh, this just loses Jake the game. Because now the snipe just comes up and happens from the... now the snipe just happens and the last 3 prize cards are drawn from James. So this also just loses Jake the game. Now you just get sniped. All right, there's the spread. And now we make our way over to James. The Frost Glasses kick in. And yeah, there's like a million different ways for James to win the game now. Yeah, 1 million different ways for James to win the game now. TM Devo is the coolest one, though. So we'll see if James goes for that. Yeah, can use Greninja. Can use Devo. Does James see any of them, though? Wait, goes with the Irida. Oh, wait, does the Devo not work because of... Sign up Vessel in a Snow Runt. Wait, does James not see any of the win conditions? Oh, wait, the Terrestrialization on the Charizard. So we can't KO Charizard with the snipe. Oops, okay. But the Devo still works. The Devo still works. Doesn't Devo take 2 prize cards? No, because it would KO the Charizard and 2 Dragapults and 2 Dracloaks. The Devo does work. Oh, we draw 4 prize cards, just the other Dracloaks in play, actually. Yeah. Just Devo don't BM. I don't think James is BMing. I don't think James sees the Devo play. He has 3 Dracloaks and the Charizard. Yeah, I think James just doesn't seem to play. I don't think he's BMing at all. Now it's setting up a Frost Blast. Oh, wait. Maybe James sees it now. Is counting some damage? Counting some damage? No, he just doesn't see it. Just gonna go with the punch. James doesn't see the play. Oh my god. Wait, that works though, right? Just goes for another Irida. James is still in a ridiculously good spot. James is still in a ridiculously good spot. Thinking about just grabbing another Irida to have more options on the next turn. The Frost Blasters are still going to build up more damage on that Charizard and the Dracloak. And there's still a ton of damage in play for James to work with as well. Goes with the boss. So I guess you could boss the Charizard and then knock it out plus the Charmander next turn. This Dracloak's getting KO'd here, right? Which is all the draw power on Jake's board as well. This Dracloak gets KO'd. That's all the draw power on Jake's board. So no draw power here for Jake. No Iono as well. So the hand is still sticking here. James gets to keep this hand. Which should still lead to the win with the boss in the hand. So this still should end up as a win here. For James. Yeah, Jake can't pull together like any super powerful play this turn. Does Jake have Devo, actually? Oh, wait, Jake can Devo the double Greninjas. Oh, goodness. No, but Jake doesn't have an energy. Jake has no energy. Oh, wait, do we have a vacuum here to vacuum off the escape board, the rescue board? Oh, we have the vacuum. Okay. This only gets Jake 2 prize cards, though. This only gets Jake 2 prize cards. There we go. TM Devo for Jake now. James had the broken TM Devo play. Didn't do it. Now Jake has the TM Devo play to keep him alive. James wins with Boss Lass. Oh, how much damage does Frost Lass do? I don't even know how much damage that thing does. I gotta watch the sick TM Devo animation real fast. Froakies get KO'd, or a Froakie and a Frogadier, excuse me. And then, yeah, there is the Frostlass plus boss combo, I guess. I don't know how much damage Frostlass does, but it's not a lot. I know that much. It's not a whole ton of, All right, there we go. Oh, now James sees it. Now James sees the TM Devo play. Oh, no. Now James only needs 2 prize cards and goes for the TM Devo. So it's different. James didn't see it off the rip. All right, still didn't, or still, I mean, gets a knockout here. I guess that's all that matters, right? Gets the dub. Yeah, didn't have the other evolve there either. All right, chat, I need 2 minutes real fast before we get into the next game. We do have James up 2-1 here. Needs 4 wins. So yeah, give me 1 second, and then we'll get back. We'll get into the to game 4 coming up here in just a second. So James has won with the Greninja and the Blissey. Has Raging Bolt and Dragapult left. Appreciate the 5 months there, Taka. Appreciate the Prime sub as well there, my band. Welcome to the Rat Pack. World of Fish. We got plenty of cranberry juice. Best of 7. Best of 7. So James needs to get 2 more dubs. Needs to win with the Raging Bolt and the Raging Bolt and something else. So Jake will get to choose first or second here. Going to this next one. And did choose second. I'm not sure what Jake is bringing quite yet. As soon as the hand is drawn, we'll go over to Jake. Actually, we'll go over to Jake right now first and see what Jake is bringing. And Jake has won with Raging Bolt, so no more Raging Bolt here for Jake. Dragapult here from Jake. So bring it back, bring the Dragapult back. And James is bringing that Raging Bolt, and James is going first. Pretty good hand there, it looks like, from Jake, to be honest. James's hand is definitely lacking draw power. That's for sure. There's definitely a lack of draw power here from James. But has 2 turns to find it. Has 2 turns to put it together. Has the Pokestop. The Pokestop still could lead to stuff. So you could... Oh, actually... Could just go Squawkabilly, right? Squawkabilly could just get involved here. And that would be fine. And it looks like that's what James is going to go for here. I guess you don't even have to put the Pokestop in play, to be honest. You could just, like, not put Pokestop in play to give it to your opponent. But he's going to go all out here. Actually, this is a pretty efficient Squawkabilly, actually. I kind of forgot about the Squawkabilly here. But yeah, just losing the Palpad only here is not bad. Maybe should have actually used Pokestop first from James there. So that way, if you discarded a Sada or any other supporter, you could have shuffled it back into the deck there. Actually, would have been interesting. All right. Draw power coming through here from James. More drawing. There we go. We even see more cards here, right? Oh, no, we just want to see the attachment for turn here, actually, from James. Yeah, I feel like the Pokestop probably should have been used before the Squawkabilly, just because the Palpad was in hand. Because that feels a little bit scary to use the Pokestop. But James is gonna go for it. Oh, 2 Sadas! Oh my gosh! Palpad and 2 Sada gone here from James. I'm not sure how many Sada James, or how many Palpad James plays. It is just 1 Palpad. That's kind of a yikes. All right, over to Jake. Does have that turn 1 Arven, which is what you want to see here from Jake. 4 Sealstone in hand. Doesn't play the TM Evo. Is playing a 4 Candy build here. The hand is pretty... I think the thing you're looking at here is you probably want to Ultra Ball for... probably want to pull off an Ultra Ball for a Rotom. Or if Rotom was prized Luminium. But the Rotom is in there, so we're probably looking for that here. Yeah, so it's got to be the Rotom here. How do you watch the games like this? Is this a certain program? It's called VOD.Ninja. It's basically like it's like set up to like utilize with OBS. It's like a browser broadcast software. I guess Pokestop could be used here from Jake as well, but I'm not sure you want to use it as Jake. We'll see. Yeah, Ultra Ball. You could get rid of TM Devo, and I guess you could get rid of Dreepy here, to be honest. Or the Dragapult, I was thinking. I guess the problem here for Jake is the Charmander's in the active. That's a problem, right? Oh, the other Mander is prized, yeah. Huh. Goes with the Pokestop here from Jake. It could hurt. 2 energy gone. It doesn't hurt too bad. How many Super Rod does Jake play? 2 Super Rod. So it's probably not too detrimental. I don't know how many energy are prized. Here comes the Ultra Ball now. He's thinking about keeping the vacuum here, actually. Yeah, the Charmander getting KO'd here actually is not great, right? Because that's how you get to an attack next turn here as Jake. Vacuum versus Dragapult. It's a good question. The vacuum you can keep around as a way to bump or give up the rare candy even. Maybe Jake is just going to settle for a turn 3 attack here. That could be what happens here. Jake just settles for a turn 3 attack. I think that's what we're going to have to settle for here is Jake. And maybe just hope James whiffs a fighting energy. But that's not going to happen, obviously. Yeah, so it's going to be that draw 3. Is going to attach the 4 Sealstone as well. Just have that in play. James does play some Iono, so it's possible James' draw supportive return is an Iono. 4 Sealstone energy. You could, that is true. You could 4 Sealstone. But then you would have kept the rare candy, right? If you're going to 4 Sealstone for energy to retreat your Charmander, then you're definitely keeping... You're definitely keeping the rare candy around if you're going to do that. Also for James... James does not play a vacuum. There's no vacuum in the deck here for James. Not a great 3, but does have the Dracloak and the 4 Sealstone to supplement that hand. And I guess it could use Pokestop as well. All right, over to James. Concealed cards is getting involved. There's a Sada. So despite milling 2 Sada, did find a Sada. Despite milling 2 Sada, did find one here. Retrieval for 2 energy. Has the attack here guaranteed. Would like to probably find another Raging Bolt. It's probably a big one here for James to find. Honestly, do you ever go for an Iono if you can find one here as James? It looks like James is going for an Iono here. Double whiff. Here we go again. There's an Iono. Fighting to the active. Gonna go with that Iono. Probably, yeah, trying to find some more Dragapult. I think James is probably done using Pokestop here as well. Doesn't want to mill the last of the good non-item cards. There's a Bolt. And we see some Vessels as well. Get some energy in play here. All right, the Bolts are in play. Bravery Charm. Actually, thinking about it, would 4 Switch Card ever be enough to, like, get yourself out of range of Dragapult? Like, what if you just played 4 Switch Card? I could see that working, actually. That'd be interesting. The extra HP from the Bravery Charms is nice in general, but maybe 4 Switch Card is just a better way to go. And no Bravery Charms. Heavier on the stops. Something to think about. All right, James gets the first knockout here on the lone Charmander from Jake, which, of course, is not good for Jake. The Charmander was a big part of the potential of a turn 2 attack here. Also, the hand here from Jake, not that good. And could have put that 4 Sealstone in play, but chose not to. And now doesn't have that to work with. Does get the energy attachment onto the Dreepy. Draw there. Does find it out to a Dracloak. I guess doesn't need Dracloak because you could get Candy Dragapult next turn. But I think you'd like to have a Dracloak here. What do you Ultra Ball away here? You could get rid of Boss and Energy. And then Super Rod back to Charmander and some energy. And then Poffin for the Charmander, I guess. Oh, doesn't want the Charmander here from Jake? Thinking about it. All right, is going to go with that route, it looks like here. There we go. Get a Draclo. Start to see some cards. And I guess like a question would be, yeah, because that way if your Dreepy with the energy gets boss KO'd, you can still attack this turn, potentially. Iono definitely seems better than Charmeleon and is going to go for it. Now we could see that Poffin, get back the Charmander, and honestly, I don't even know what it depends what energy or prize here, I guess, for Jake, is what ones you'd want to get. Does go for the double fire. I guess Charizard's just a really good attacker in this matchup, right? Yeah. Definitely. All right. And then the draw 3 off the Rotom does have Iono to work with next turn. Could counter catcher the benched Raging Bolt? I feel like that's what Jake had to be thinking about there at the end. Was, well, what if I counter catcher that benched Raging Bolt? Would it stick? Not a super high chance of sticking with as big of a hand as James has, to be honest. All right, James has the knockout on the active. Once again, just wants to build up a lot of energy in play. Ideally, use Sada if it can be found. Yeah, ideally wants to use Sada if it can be found to just build up that much extra energy in play to be able to one-hit KO the Dragapult on the next turn, and then look for that one-hit KO on the Rotom probably on the following turn is the plan here from James. All right, got a ton of energy. Does still have a ton of energy in play, like right here. There's a lot of energy. Could play the Iono. It could play the Iono. But you would be giving Jake +1 card. Also, Jake didn't do like that. I don't even know if Jake played a supporter last turn. Did Jake play a supporter last turn? Oh, played Iono, right? Yeah, played Iono. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one here. The question is like, you just kind of want to find Sadas here as James. So like, should you just play the Iono to increase your odds of having a Sada for next turn, or do you just kind of wait another turn? You are drawing another prize card this turn, which means your Iono is only going to be drawing you 4 cards next turn. But it is like your last form of hand disruption as well, I feel like. Or I think it just is. So that's a question here for James. What is the route? That's what he's thinking about. Do you go with the Iono, or do you stick with what you currently got? Nope. It does end up with the Iono. And Jake's hand wasn't like anything spectacular, so I don't think Jake is going to be complaining about that one. Has that Pokegear to work with in the next turn to potentially get that Sada. And then here comes this knockout on the Dreepy. And I think, let me check here real fast. I think Jake does play Vacuum, right? Oh, yeah, we saw it, yeah. So it does play the Vacuum. So the Vacuum, we could actually see this the active Pokemon get KO'd here for James. We could see the Raging Bolt go down. I'm actually was curious about discarding the energy off the active, to be honest, because if... the hand is not particularly good here for Jake, but could get... Oh, well, you have this to work with as well. You have the Dracloak to work with, so hold on. It's maybe not that bad. Arven or Energy. Goes with the Arven. That's not an Iono. I'm sure Jake would love to play an Iono here. Does Jake play? Jake plays Maximum Belt, not Unfair Stamp. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Jake can actually knock out the active here. Yeah, Jake could go Maximum Belt, Vacuum, knockout. Interesting. Then you're just going to get knocked out in return. You need to set up like a little bit more than that, I feel like. You need like another Dracloak here to just like keep getting through your deck. Keep milling through your deck. You could maybe use the Pokestop here to try and find... Man, this deck really wishes Level Ball existed, to be honest. Because like, yeah, honestly, getting your Dracloak set up without TM Evo on an early turn is like not that... Like, Ultra Balling for a Dracloak is like pretty low value. Like, you're using 3 cards to get a Pokemon that then gets you 1 card. Like, you're not really building many options very aggressively. Oh, here's the 4 Seal Stones in the deck as well. But is eyeing up the Maximum Belt for the potential of the KO here. The question is just, what do you KO here? I guess Jake could go KO the green dude, the Ogerpon, actually. That does remove 3 energy from play. That should be the focus, right? Just remove as many energy from play as possible. And it is a form of energy acceleration as well. Yeah, and it removes the form of energy acceleration as well. So I feel like that's got to be the play here from Jake. Is to go with that. To go with that KO. And hope it sets James pretty far back. Ooh, and then does have the Radzard potential response on the next turn. This Fire Energy, of course, is getting attached to the active. Oh, that's Vacuum Maximum Belt as well. So I guess you don't have to play... Oh, no. We're thinking about KOing the Ogerpon, right? Yeah, that'd be the question. Is like, do you want to go after this Ogerpon? Or KO the active? Because the Ogerpon is just sitting on a bunch of energy. It does cost your Maximum Belt, which means this is your only way to one-hit KO Raging Bolts moving forward, though. I don't know. This is actually a tough choice here. You will remove more energy from play. But you have like the Rotom on the bench anyways, which gets pretty reasonably KO'd. Yeah, and Jake is gonna go with the counter catcher. You can see that's what Jake was thinking about there. Was like the counter catcher versus just the knockout on the active. He's going for the counter catcher play. Needs to has the vacuum in hand, so I guess you don't need to spread damage there, but that would mean that you don't need the vacuum next turn. This could get switch card healed, of course. And then get out of range of Radzard KO. And if you put all 6 on it instead of 3, you'd still be out of range. It goes with 4, keeps it in Radzard range. And then you probably want 1 on this Ogerpon at least, so it could get KO'd by a Dragapult later. And puts the other one on the Raging Ball. I don't know if it matters there at all ever, but you got to put it somewhere. So, there we go. 2 off the prize cards. Poffin and Manaphy's not great. The hand's not great here from Jake. James will definitely be able to put together the KO this turn. I'm almost positive. Almost positive. I think this Pokegear is like almost guaranteed to hit Asada based on what's on the bottom of the deck. Double switch card. Could see some healing action onto that benched Raging Bolt. This should hit Asada. Wait, no Asada hit? Oh, goodness. I thought it was guaranteed. I thought it was basically guaranteed. No Sada. Where are they? How many cards were on the bottom of the deck? Wasn't an Iono played recently in the deck not shuffled? Oh my goodness. This could be a comeback here from Jake off that whiff. You use Pokestop here as James? What do you even do? I don't even know what you do here. You could Super Rod Grass energy back to the deck and a Lightning energy back to the deck, and then use the Bug Catching Net to get the grass, and then maybe try and draw into the plays a Nest Ball. What's left? Raging Bolt. There was 2 Sada in there. There's energy retrievals in there. You maybe just go for Pokestop here first. I don't know, to be honest. He's gonna go with the Pokestop. Okay, didn't mill, but didn't hit anything either. But I guess you're that much closer. So now you might have to go the energy route here as James. Super Rod back, 2 grass, and a Lightning, I think. Yeah, something like that. Let's see. All right, here comes Super Rod. Oh, but if you put the Lightning back, just go triple grass. Okay, because if you put the Lightning back, then you can't Sada for it if you hit the Sada. Hits 2 grass. There's a lot of outs here for James. He's going to see 2 more cards here, and it's mostly outs. Like, this is definitely above 50% chance. James is going to at least see 2 cards here. Draw 1. It's a Vessel. Okay, so already there. Oh, isn't going to play the Vessel, though. Interesting. So it's not going to thin out the energy out of the deck with the Vessel. Focus up. Now has to play the Vessel. Wait, is there a Lightning in the deck? Oh, we could switch hard to the other one and use the Fighting, though, right? The KO's happening here. The KO happened. James has got it. Gives up the Nest Ball. Probably makes the most sense. Honestly, I don't know. Oh, there was a Lightning left. Okay. 2 Sada, 2 energy retrieval left. So we can attack with the active one, right? The active one has a Fighting on it, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right, though. It does have a fight. Okay. So James did it. James can attack this turn. 0 Sada played. Honestly, maybe that's just kind of a testament to this deck's power level right now. Like the Raging Bolt. James has played 0 Sada. Look how much energy's in play. And James is also taking 2 prize cards. About to take a big knockout this turn. Yeah, with 0 Sada played. 0 Sada have been played up to this point from James. And then we do need to get rid of what? 5 energy here to get this KO. For a pretty big knock. Oh, and we get rid of 6, right? Yeah. 6. Unless I'm that bad at math. No. 5. All right, double switch card happening here as well. Thinning out the deck. Yeah, 5. 6. Where am I getting 6 from? No, it's 5. We're chilling. We're chilling. We're in the switch cards as well, just in case an Iono happens next turn. Or even no, Jake doesn't play Unfair Stamp. I was going to say even the Unfair Stamp, but no. Not how it works. All right, there we go. Knockout down to 2 prize cards here from James. The only viable attacker on the board here for Jake we know is the Radzard, but no way to attack with it. And top deck rare Candy isn't going to be enough, but we could see the... Oh, plays the Poffin, but nothing to get off the Poffin. We could see... I was going to say we could see... Pokestop into Ultra Ball, but there's no Ultra Balls in the deck. Is it even worth using Pokestop? It should just be a Rotomangle here from Jake. And then, yeah, it is. So over to James. Does James have game in hand? I don't think James quite has it yet. James still needs a retrieval. Has boss, but needs to find a fighting energy. Needs to find an energy retrieval here for James. No retrieval. Could Ogre Pawn, or you could use Greninja. Could also Pokestop. Actually, no, you're guaranteed it here as... You're guaranteed the energy retrieval here as James, actually. Because you had Greninja for 2. Or Greninja for 2, and then the other thing. Switch card, and then boss. Sada switch for game. No, we need 2 prize cards left here for James. So we've got to KO the Rotom here. So still, once again, no Sada played here. James played 0 Sada. I mean, Jake didn't have the most aggressive start, of course. Yeah, Jake did not have the most aggressive start here. But 0 Sada played. James gets the dub. Raging Bolt over the Dragapult. So James only has Dragapult left, I believe. James only has Dragapult left. That's it. As we head into, what, game number 4 here. James just needs 1 win with Dragapult. Jake has got to win with Dragapult, Blissey, and Greninja from here. We'll see what Jake is going to choose to throw first. Usually in these situations in Conquest, we usually see players just throw their deck that is... Well, what if they want like a mental reset or not? They'll throw the deck that has the best matchup or the worst matchup. They're just like, all right, let's get the worst matchup out of the way and see what happens. Is usually, I feel like, how people approach it, but we'll see. Is this going on YouTube? Yeah, I'll put the whole match on YouTube later. All right, here we go. And we'll see. Jake will get to choose first or second. Also, I guess this is actually the bigger thing here for Jake is this is the last time you'll get to pick first or second. So it's probably a bigger deal here, actually. So Jake wants to probably pick the deck that has... Yeah, the deck that you want the most control over going first or second actually is the deck you want to throw here as Jake. And then next game, we'll see. But so you probably never send Blissey because Blissey is just favored into Dragapult. So you're never sending Blissey here. So it's Greninja versus Dragapult here as Jake. So whatever one he thinks going second gives him the biggest advantage up against Dragapult is the one to throw here as Jake. Oof. Oh my gosh. Dude, this hit is so bad. And 2 mulligans? Went with the Blissey, though. I don't like that take there from Jake. Yeah, I don't like that send there from Jake. Because that's the deck that you have the biggest advantage against. So you're going to want to send a deck here where going first or second is like the biggest deal, to be honest. Vessel for 2 and pass? Do you Vessel again? Do you just Vessel again? Maybe you do. It's going to be an attached pass here from James. Establish an energy. All right. Over to Jake. Pretty good hand. Has the turbo. Honestly, you could just turbo energize here and chill. He's going to play an Ultra Ball here to go get another Blissey down. But could have just turbo energized and chill, to be honest. You didn't really need to do anything. Catch active turbo energize, yeah. But yeah, probably going to establish another chancey here. I guess you could go for the Hatterene. I don't know if that matters too much. Thinking about this a little bit more, I think the deck for Jake to have played here, I think I would like to have seen Jake actually send Charizard, the Charizard Dragapult deck. I think that's what I would have liked to have seen Jake send here. Maybe the Greninja deck. That would have been just not Blissey. I think Jake sending Blissey is definitely a mistake because this is the deck that has the best time against Dragapult out of the other 2. So going first or second matters the least for this deck. But it's just going to be another chancey grab. Throw that down. Has the Turbo Energize. The Dories are going to get involved. Set up as much as possible. Yeah, James didn't have anything playable besides an Energy to Illuminate in the not on that first turn, but it doesn't mean there's not like a Iono in there or something. Doesn't mean that. You're definitely going after 1 Dark Energy here. Well, I guess you have to. The question is like whether or not you grab the Psychic Energy for sure. Just going to load it all up on the bench Chansey. All right. Over to James. Does top deck the Iono. All right. So, yeah, Jake setting up as much as possible. Definitely makes the difference here with that top deck there from James. Ooh, what is this draw, bro? Does James' deck play good cards? Maybe James's deck is all tech cards. Maybe that's why we're seeing this. Maybe, yeah, maybe James's deck does not even play good cards. What do you do here as James now? 4 Sealstone for Poffin. Does James play the Cleffa? You could get Cleffa here. You could get Poffin for Cleffa and a Dreepy or the Xatu. Let's see. James doesn't play Cleffa or Rotom, actually. Interesting. No Cleffa, no Rotom. That's curious for sure. Does have a TM Evo. I guess that is a... It's okay. An okay reason? What do you do? You can't TM Evo. Wait, is there a vacuum in the hand? Let's go. No way, dude. What a play. What a play. James grabbing TM Evo off of Forest Sealstone to then vacuum away the Forest Sealstone so you can put the TM Evo onto the Lumineon. Incredible. The genius play. 10,000 IQ. Dude, that is such a bad... I mean, it's not a bad play. It's just like so... The lack of value in that play is insane. There's not much else he could have done, I don't think. It's not a bad play in terms of James had better choices. It's just such a terrible play in terms of it just sucks. Like... All right, well, Jake has Boss KO Lone Dreepy here. I'd probably keep the Charon's Care. Charon's Care is just how you auto win this matchup. I don't like that choice there from Jake. Could just like give the Ultra Ball instead. But is going with the Charon's Care give up there? I don't know. I feel like Charon's Care is like that's the reason you just auto win this matchup because you need to play like a Charon's Care and the game's just over. But yeah, it has the Boss KO on the lone Dragapult. And honestly, at that point, I wouldn't fault James for conceding at this point if I mean, there needs to be a top deck of some sort as well, to be honest. And also, Jake does have game set up in hand here. Can scoop up Cyclone or Ultra Ball for the other... Oh, no, you need Scoop up Cyclone into the bench Chansey here, I guess. So, yeah, Jake has game set up on the next turn. Turn also allows you to deal 170 next turn. No, because it has to be a damaged colorless Pokemon. It can't just be anything. James with another Iono top deck, maybe? It is another Iono top deck. All right. The game just wants to see James suffer. Gets the Enhance Hammer, though. Can we slow? Dude, what are these draws? Oh, and there's the concede from James. Yeah, I don't fault him too much there. It's not looking good. It was possible that Jake's hand was bad enough that it would make a difference, but... All right. Jake takes another one. James still has to play Dragapult. James needs to get the win with Dragapult. And at this point, it doesn't really matter too much. James is... I guess it's actually possible James could choose... Would James want to go first in any of these matchups? I feel like James is going to be choosing second in every matchup from here on out. The last two decks here for Jake are the Charizard Dragapult and the Greninja. I feel like you're always choosing... I feel like you're always choosing second here as James. Yeah, I think I was choosing second here as James. James plays 2 Rare Candy in here as well. Yeah, I feel like I was choosing second. So yeah, from here on out, you're just always going second, I think. So with that in mind, I think we can jump over to Jake. We know what James is bringing, and that James is going second. So... Yep, Jake's going first. We'll see what Jake decides to send here first. Yeah, for Jake to make the comeback, Jake has to win with the next 2 decks. Okay, is going with the Greninja. And, hey, that's a decent opening here for Jake. For sure. The Poffin, the Rotom, an Ultra Ball for the next turn. These are the kind of hands that if you always got these going first with these Poffin Arven decks, you would always go first, but you usually don't open up with. Is going immediately for the draw power. The Bidoof, the Pidgey. Also plays Radiant Serena in this deck. For, I would assume, the Dragapult matchup. I assume that's going to be the main reason to want to include those. Plays a penny. What would be penny in here? All right, we locking them in. Udoof Pidgey, locked. Okay. Our Froakie is safe in the active. And yeah, we got that Rotom for 3 here to build up for that. Ideally looking for Candy Pidgeot, Candy Greninja. And we're close to it here, actually, for Jake. Now, I believe James does play a TM Devo, though. Let me take a look here. Yeah, James does play the TM Devo. So actually it makes things a little bit interesting. It's like, how aggressive do you want to be with your candies and stuff overall? Follow-up Poffin here from Jake is going to be great as well going to that next turn. Over to James. Oh, it's not terrible, though. Hold up. Ultra Ball. Could get Luminion. Man, this is where, like, not having something like... This really is where not having something like that... what would you want? Like a Cleffa here or something. Like a Cleffa would be kind of cool here, I feel like. Something like a Cleffa. Giving up our candy, actually. Okay. Undecided. James undecided. Going to get rid of the E-Hammer. This could go get Luminion. Luminion gets Arvin, gets Poffin, plus TM Evo. Seems pretty good. Oh, I guess at that point you don't need the rare candy, right? Okay, this actually seems like an okay start here from James, to be honest. No, Luminion works out pretty good here with the TM Evo, right? Yeah, because we have the energy to combo with it. Sure. Set up a Xatu. Set up a Dracloak. Doing all right. We're doing okay. Quick skimming to check the prize cards here. The Team Evo, if the Team Evo wasn't there, that'd be pretty annoying, to be honest. But it is. And yeah, there's Luminion Grab. I assume that's what we're going to go for here is James. We got one Dracloak set up and the Xatu. Or, is it called Xatu? Natu, Xatu? Yeah. The TM Devo is prized here for James. I believe. So it needs to actually draw prize cards. Can't just set up for a full TM Devo, line here from James. You have to, like, take your time. Or... yeah, you have to draw some. You can't take your time. You have to draw prize cards aggressively to play towards that, or just draw your prize cards through taking knockouts. Knockouts. Manaphy actually grabbed here from James. So is scared. James is scared of the potential turn 2 Greninja play. It's not that likely. I don't know if I would play around that here, James. I think I would just grab another GP. There's no way. I mean, it is possible. How many double turbos does Jake play? Of course, you could force Seal Stone for the double turbo, but. Is it 2? Well, no. It's probably 2. It's 3. It's still only 3 though. That's not that many, right? All right, like I said, Jake had a pretty good hand. No candy though. Is there Luminion in this build? If it is, it's prize. There is a Luminion in here, but not going to be getting it here. Yeah, so no candy for Jake means it's not going to put the candy into anything. It is insanely likely Arvin plus any combo piece gets there. Oh, I guess that's true. Maybe it's not as unlikely as I thought. No, you're right. It's pretty likely. It's pretty likely. Jake, unfortunately, has nothing, though. No combos. Even sets up second Pidgey here. Ultra Ball coming out from Jake. I guess you're going to go get the B-Barrel. Actually, you could draw with B-Barrel first, right? Was Jake thinking about giving up the Iono? I thought Jake mouse over Iono there. I was like, I don't know about that. What if you whiff? I was thinking about the... I think the boss give up makes the most sense to me. Maybe you give up the unfair stamp to keep the gust effects around. I was going to end up giving up the boss. B-Barrel. So I guess you could attach to bench Froakie and then B-Barrel for 2 cards. And then hope for a candy for the Greninja or an Arvin. Because the Arvin would lead to Candy Pidgeot, Candy Greninja. But then you maybe just get TM Devote. I guess that's kind of the... Oh! Before Sealstone becomes... I guess you never... It's not as good as you'd want. You get Candy Greninja, but that's it. You could get Arvin, but that just becomes... I mean, what, is the Arvin worth it? Oh, I guess the penny is in here to loop the Ursaluna from Jake. This just becomes Candy, right? And Bravery Charm? Oh, I guess a Bravery Charm protects one of your Pidgeys? Can't evolve the Froakie. But you have 2 Pidgeys. Are you scared of your 1 Pidgey getting... I guess you could get counter catchered here, so maybe you are afraid of that. Sure, I guess, yeah. I guess it's a little bit more value for the turn. Yeah, the Brave Charm prevents counter catcher KO double Pidgey. Now what do you grab here, Jake? What's even good? None of these cards seem that good, to be honest. It all seems pretty mid. I was thinking about Ultra Ball. You have no combo in hand. If you top deck Rare Candy, Ultra Ball would be good. But grabbing Candy is almost better, because then if you top deck any of your stage 2s, it's better, right? It seems better. Just catch the one with the charm. Oh yeah, that's true. You just bring up the one with the charm. So yeah, does the Braver Charm even matter there? I feel like maybe we should have left the Arven in the deck. Yeah, it doesn't actually make a difference. All right. Over to James. Iono. Oh, actually, James has attack in hand and a Poffin to go with it. That's pretty good. Things are coming together here for James. Question is, how do you sequence this, I guess? The question is, how much do you care about the vacuum? Because you could just give up the vacuum with the vessel. Oh, but the vacuum could lead to removing... Oh, the Brave Charm. The Brave Charm doesn't matter. I don't know why I'm talking about the Brave Charm so much. I keep thinking it matters, but it doesn't actually matter. All right, into the Poffin. It's the Dreeps. We finally have a Dragapult cooking here for James. Actually, a Dragapult cooking kind of, like a turn 2 Dragapult happening in general in this set. Punchy active. You get to spread 6 here. The question for James is, where do you put the 6 damage counters? You could just put it on B-Barrel, to be honest, to set up for a TM Devo. Oh, no. Can't go for a TM Devo play here as James, because TM Devo is prized. 3 to the Froakie to potentially KO the Frogadier. He's not going to go after the Pidgey. This also keeps Jake bench locked, but Jake does play Penny and Turo. So there's ways to like free up the bench here. To like play for like a Radiant Serena, I guess, or something. And here from Jake. Candy Greninja, not bad. TM Devo is a thing. But we know it's prized for James. I guess Jake doesn't. He's maybe just going to pray it's... just going to pray that it's prized. TM Devo here also isn't like game ending or anything for Jake, because you would be able to, you'd still have a Froakie in play to work with. Comes a draw with the B-Barrel. Get yourself 1 card, hoping it's a candy. It's an Ultra Ball. That does clear out the hand a little bit, but you don't have to do that this turn. It's going to be the punch with the Greninja. I assume this is going to find a candy for the Pidgeot. But once again, this does like just like play heavily into TM Evo or TM Devo. Which you can, I mean, maybe at some point you just hope that James doesn't have it, I guess. Let's see what James does have this turn, though. And not bad. Can Turo Luminion out of play. Can't really Turo. Oh, actually, I'll take it back. You could Turo the active here. Does evolve into the one with the energy, though, so can't do that anymore. Could have Turo Candy Dragapult there as James. I believe has used... Oh, wait, James hasn't used the Force Seal Stone. Oh, that was last game. That was last game. Not this game. Yeah, but yeah, so could have done the Turo play there as James. That would have been interesting, to be honest. Just like a full reset. I honestly like the idea of the full reset there from James. I kind of liked that. Fully reset that Dragapult. You do lose the energy, but you do have Super Rods left here, James. I'm actually curious how many Super Rods does James play. Does only play the 1 Super Rod, so maybe losing those 2 energy would have been too big of a hit. I don't know how many energy are in the discard pile or anything like that, but... Where do you go from here as James? Now there's just kind of that Dracloak sitting on the bench with 2 energy on it, which it could just get KO'd. And that's like a lot of resources to lose, to be honest. That'd be like a lot of resources to lose for sure. Only 1 rescue board in this list here for... Oh, and a Turo. There's also a Turo. So take the knockout. Do you spread damage somewhere else here as well? James, where's it go? All going... I mean, it does set it for the knockout, right? This is where the Radiant Serena could come into play to stop the knockout. But will we find the TM Devo off the prize cards here for James? There, the TM Devo is found. That's big. All right, over to Jake. What are you going to do? I mean, it's got to be Greninja send up first of all. Or hold on. Pidgey Candy Pidgeot, Nest Ball, Radiant Serena, Penny the Rotom, maybe Turo. No, you probably Penny the Rotom. Save your Turo. Start to clean up your board a little bit. Get the Radiant Serena in play. Try and get another Froakie on the bench. But with all these candies used, the Team Devo is looking pretty good here for James now that's been found out of the prize cards. That like reset Jake for a while. No Frogadier either to work with. And if you Penny the Rotom as well, you get the 4 Seal Stone back, and you could just Ultra Ball for the Froakie, right? It seems pretty good. You want to candy the non-charmed Pidgey, right? Yeah, actually you do. Yeah, that is true. You definitely want to. Definitely a mistake there from Jake, actually. Yeah, definitely a mistake there from Jake. Ooh, is going for the aggressive Unfair Stamp play. Unfair Stamp plus Knockout instead of trying to create bench space. There we go. Pidgey under Pidgeot doesn't get KO'd by Devo now with 60 damage now. Oh, that is true. There is value to the other line. There is value both ways. There's the Unfair Stamp. Did draw back into Turo, so we could still see Turo on that Rotom to create bench space. Vacuum coming out as well here from Jake to get rid of that for a Seal Stone that was put in play on the Luminion here from James, so won't have access to that to find any one card. I'm going to take a quick look at James's hand to see what those 2 cards are. How good are they? Not very good. All right, back over to Jake. Hasn't played a supporter yet. You're definitely not playing Iono. You just hit him with the Unfair Stamp. You want to keep that. Keep that being unfair. There's a double Turbo Energy. Could boss. You could boss remove the only draw power from play in the form of the Dracloak, to be honest. The Xatu could become draw power, but it's not guaranteed. But also removing the only Dragapult from play is also pretty good. But you could do that next turn, theoretically. I do like the idea of the Turo, though, from Jake. So I do like that. Clean up some bench space. You'd love to bench a Froakie here as well. Honestly, this makes me think that maybe Jake still should have played the Penny before playing the Unfair Stamp. Jake could have gone play Penny. Yeah, Jake could have gone play Penny, pennied up the Rotom, Ultra Balled away the Rotom, the 4 Seal Stone, benched a Froakie, and then gone quick search for Unfair Stamp, play Unfair Stamp. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I kind of like that. Because like Jake basically did the exact same thing, but now it doesn't have a Froakie in play. I think you'd want the Froakie in play over the current situation here from Jake. We're going to go with the knockout. Any one card of the deck. He's going to go for a rare candy in case of the potential TM Devo. But Jake's attacking options on board are not very good. The Ogerpon, there's a Manaphy in play, so Ogerpon's not doing that much. And Jake does not play, I believe Jake does not play Canceling Cologne. Which is kind of a surprise, to be honest. Why would you not play? Oh, wait, hold up. Yeah, Jake doesn't play Canceling Clone, which is definitely seems like a big surprise to me. Why would you not play Canceling Clone if you have this many snipe Pokemon cooking? All right, over to James. Still needs something off this Dracloak. The Dracloak is going to be the savior here for James. Here we go. And we got, there's an Arven that can become an Ultra Ball as well as TM Devo. And you could TM Devo this turn as James, actually. Isn't the Water Palm for the first attack? I guess that is fair. You could just try and trap something. Oh, maybe that's going to be the game plan here from Jake, is just trap something with the with the Water Ogerpon. Yeah, that could be the play here. We'll see. The Sob trap. Wait, what does Sob do? It just says you can't retreat, right? Oh, and 20 damage, but you do 0 damage because of the double turbo. Yeah, that could be the move here from Jake. But there is a Turo. James does play Turo, and we see the Turos in the hand. There's 2 targets here for Jake to go after, but I'm pretty sure Jake only plays... No, Jake does play counter catchers. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. James actually going for the Unfair Stamp plus the TM Devo. It's a pretty good play. Ours seems solid. I mean, I guess the B-Barrel is still going to be in play, though, for draw power here from Jake. Even has a counter catcher to go with it. I don't know if you want to go with that as well. You could counter catcher the Serena. Yeah, you could counter catcher the Serena here, I guess. There's a retreat. We see the counter catcher happen. Won't be active next turn because we'll be drawing one prize card here for James. All right, see what the prize card is, and we'll jump over to Jake here. The Froakie's going to get KO'd. Going to be tied up 3-3. Might need it later, though. Let's see. Let's get a boss off the prize cards. All right, over to Jake. B-Barrel comes down, has the Froakie, and then only gets to draw one off of B-Barrel. What is it? Rotom! Oh, no! Here comes the Sob. Can't retreat 20 damage. I think James is okay with that. James has boss, so could go chase something off the bench here. Could go chase the B-Barrel, to be honest. He's actually going after the Froakie here. I was thinking B-Barrel, but I guess Jake only drew one last turn, so. We go knockout, spread 6 damage. James can go down to one prize card here. Could also load up could load up damage on the Sobber, the Ogerpon here, but he's just gonna go down to one prize card here. Knockout Froakie, knockout Pidgey, one prize card remaining here for James, and the series on the line, match point, or the match on the line. All right, over to Jake. Needs a top deck here. I guess the active Pokemon. Oh wait, no, it has the counter catcher. Could go counter catcher. Hold up. How many boss does James play? Now I'm curious. 2 boss. I don't know how many boss have been played. Counter catcher Luminion. Sob is still in effect. Two from the B-Barrel now. Finds Arvin. That could be Candy Pidgeot. That puts Pidgey out of range of the vacuum knockout. James does have Turo, but now there's no target, and there's another counter catcher in the deck here for Jake to go with next turn. But Jake is decking out first, right? So Jake doesn't just win off this. We'll see the Sob play happen here from Jake. Does Jake have a way to, like, not deck out? No, I don't believe so. All right, here comes the Sob. Maybe Sob? Why would you not Sob? Think about maybe drawing with Rotom instead. I think you got to go with the Sob here, though, right? Jake wasn't sure for a second. Does end up going with the Sob. Yeah, James, I guess, did have Vacuum Turo, so could have carried the Pidgey, but the Pidgey did get candied. So for James now, what is the play? I don't know how many boss are left for James. James might be out of boss. Did James just pass? Did it bug? Or did James just go draw pass? James maybe went draw pass. All right, over to Jake. Ursaluna does attack for free. I guess you could just go Ursaluna knockout, and then you just need one prize card with, like, Pidgey boss KO Manaphy or something. You have to penny and then Jake didn't use Pidgey's ability last turn. Definitely a mistake there. Goes for, is the Iron up Iono? Iono KO? Yeah, you could go Iono KO and then Penny pass. Yeah, you can go Iono retreat knockout into Penny the Ursaluna after it gets punched, then pass, then bench Ursaluna boss KO, right? Yeah, I guess that does work. Here's the Iono. See what James got off the one card. Oh, I could have waited on that. We'll see what James got off the one card in a second. Could Ultra Ball away these two away. I don't think you need Luminion here. I don't think Jake has any boss left. Oh, is Jake out of boss? But you could reset the Ursaluna, then punch with Pidgeot, then punch with Ursaluna, maybe? Jake Jake does have a boss left. No, Jake does have a boss left. E-Barrel draw for 5. Yeah, so it was never going to be a full lock maneuver here. There's a counter catcher. Is it better to remove the Xatu from play here Counter catcher KO Xatu. Oh, with Blustery Wind into boss KO Luminion with Ursaluna next turn. I think Jake's done it. Unless, yeah, you remove the draw power to stop James having a boss. James does have one boss left. This will lower the chances of James finding that one boss. There we go. Retreat, attack with Pidgeot. And then you'll have retreat, attack with Ursaluna. So it comes down to, can James top deck boss here? The boss loses you the game no matter what here. Jake could just attach, because in case you top deck another energy, you could attach again to draw more cards. Just get out of the deck, I guess. Here we go. Blustery Wind KO. And there was a Vessel in the hand here for James, which means this would have been draw power. All right, over to James. The Vessel was good when we had the Xatu, top deck boss. Top deck Poffin. James doesn't know for sure that Jake has game. Yeah, the boss was in the deck. No draw power on board, though. Retreat and just punch with Dragapult. Put 6. I couldn't tell you where it would ever matter. Is going for the Ogre Pawn. This would allow Jake to retreat and punch the active with Ursaluna, though. I feel like maybe the damage should have been put on Ursaluna. I guess I wouldn't even stop Ursaluna from KOing you, though. How much HP does Ursaluna have? 240? No, I guess I would have made a difference there. But yeah, we had the boss in the hand for Jake, so just boss KO Luminion in the end. Yeah, this did not look very good for Jake at all. And eventually had no Greninja in play, but the Ursaluna, man, that's still the Ursaluna, no matter where you're at in the game, or as you get to the end game, you don't need anything set up. Ursaluna just does damage. And that's it. We tied up 3-3 here from Jake, and now Dragapult has yet to win a game. James is 0-2 with Dragapult. Jake is 0-2 with Dragapult. But as we go into game 7 here, both players' remaining deck is Dragapult Xatu versus Dragapult Charizard. James will get to choose first or second. And I assume is going to be choosing second here. As we go into this final match of Dragapult versus Dragapult. It is also possible we see no Dragapults get used in this match and Jake just wins with Charizard, like Donkey. That's possible. But I think we'll finally see some Dragapults happen as we enter this final game here. And like I said, I think James will be choosing second, so we'll stay on with Jake here. Is this kind of hand? No Poffin. There's an Ultra Ball top deck. That's not bad. You could force Seal Stone for the Poffin after that. You could Ultra Ball away, get rid of probably Boss Iono. It feels bad. And you're still hoping, of course, that Rotom is actually in the deck. Because if Rotom is not here, this still feels bad. I guess you could give up the energy instead, possibly. That would have been like a fine give up instead. Rotom is there. Force Seal Stone for Poffin never feels great. But I think it'll be fine here. I guess you could not force Seal Stone for Poffin and then hold it to just go Candy Zard and swing on the next turn. That would also be fine. We'll see, though. How much of a deciding factor for the meta shift is the Japan Championships? It depends if anything new comes out of it or not. If nothing really new comes out of it, then it won't matter that much. But if something broken comes out of the Japan Championships, then that would be the biggest influence for sure. Yeah, that would be the biggest influence. All right, it's going to be the Rotom grab. Yeah, the big question is here is, like, do you save the 4 Seal Stone or do you just go get a Poffin? And honestly, you probably just grab 2 Dreepy. And yeah, Jake's going to be like, all right, I mean, I can't imagine you grab anything besides Poffin here. We'll see. Yep, there's the Poffin. And it's got to be double Dreepy, right? It's got to be double Dreepy. And then the instant charge for 3. All right, so Jake has an okay. Oh, okay. That's pretty good. Double Dracloak, Arvin. How is it going for James? Dude. Oh, no, there's a Poffin. But, dude. Does this deck just suck? What is his hand? What is it? But the deck is basically the Charizard engine, bro. Where are the Charizard hands? He's eyeing up double Dreepy. Does have the potential for Candy Dragapult here. Is going to boss up the Rotom, I guess, as well to maybe make things a little bit more difficult, especially with that Fire Energy on the... Oh, I didn't even see that Jake attached that Fire Energy to the Dreepy there. Interesting. It's actually an interesting attachment, I feel like. Yeah, do you play the boss here as James? I feel like playing the boss here isn't really changing the outcome too much. Yeah, he's just gonna pass. All right. How's the draw for Jake? Do we have the turn 2 here? There's a Dracloak. Is close to it. Is very close. Ooh, that's a Charizard. That's Candy Charizard. Candy Charizard is attacking. An arm for Candy. Is not going to get the turn 2 Dragapult attack, which I'm sure is like would have been what Jake preferred, but this is not bad. There's the Psychic Energy too. Was so close to having the Psychic Energy. If you get the Psychic Energy, then you can arm for Rescue Board plus Candy Dragapult attack with Dragapult. But Candy Zard's not bad here. There's a Candy. Only other tool card to grab there is TM Devo. Might as well grab it to just have the option of it. Yeah, there's no reason to leave it in the deck. I'm trying to think if there's a reason to leave it in the deck, but there really isn't, right? Yeah, may as well just grab it. Candy Zard is online. Gonna get 2 fire for the active. And probably a fire for the benched Dracloak, the one that doesn't have one. This does leave it in actually an interesting situation where like Rotom could maybe get boss stalled, but probably not. Probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. He's gonna choose to not attach the Psychic Energy, and down goes the Manaphy of James. Only 2 Dreepies on the bench between Jake and the dub. James needs a top deck here for sure. Let's see. Vacuum top deck. Does have Candy Dragapult. Can punch for 70. I guess that is something. You could actually boss the Rotom and punch the Rotom for 70. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you 70 active, 70 on the Rotom, 70 on a Dracloak. There's nothing good about it, right? All of this seems terrible. I think you got to go for a boss play here, though, from James for sure. Like, I think you do have to boss Rotom to try and trap it, right? You definitely just go boss Rotom and hope it gets stuck. You definitely just boss it and hope it gets stuck. Yeah, you don't really have another play here. Build up a little bit of damage. We know that Jake has a Psychic Energy, and we'll be able to retreat immediately. Ooh, even drew the Turo. Goodness. I mean, that's better, right? You just Turo this thing out of play, and you attack with a Dragapult yourself. Spread 60 on the bench. Set up the board wipe in 2 turns. I think I'm leaning towards that Dragapult. I guess we have an Ultra Ball. I don't know, as an option is pretty good. We have the Ultra Ball for later, maybe. Could bench a Dreepy. We're definitely using the Turo. And you could bench that Dreepy to then make that into another Dracloak on the next turn. Yeah, it doesn't get better than that for Jake here, I feel like. Just had to check, make sure I didn't want to have not used the ability here. He's playing the Ultra Ball now. Although, are you just trying to evolve up your board fully, just to the whole squad? You could. I mean, thinning these cards out of the deck is nice for sure. Oh, he's actually going to go for a Charmander here. Okay, I was going to think we like benched the Dreepy and then held that Ultra Ball for a Dracloak. Or the possibility of the Dragapult. Benching the whole squad. 200 active, 60 to the bench. Once again, James is living off the top deck. Now there is no way to retreat any Pokemon in Jake's hand, but also I don't know if that does that much for James, to be honest. And the top deck is a Psychic Energy. At what point do you just concede? And James decides it's now another slow draw from James's Dragapult just couldn't win a game. James's Dragapult just could not win a game. And Jake takes the dub.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. How's it going, Jake?
Good, good.
Congrats on the dub. Dragapult finally won a game. It took you guys a while to get a dub with Dragapult there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it took a while for sure. And it was mostly Charizard doing the Dragapult matchup in the end.
Yeah, that was like the to get going, to get the first couple of prize cards, put the pressure on. Charizard was doing all the work. The comeback with the Greninja deck was really cool to see, though. I think that more so flexed the power of Ursaluna, or showed off the power of Ursaluna than anything. You went from like a board state with no good attackers in play, but you had Ursaluna at the end to close out that one, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. And the Sob getting in on the action.
Yeah.
I couldn't just win with that because he had less cards in deck total, so I couldn't deck him out. He only had 1 Turo, so if he had more cards in deck, I could have just like sobbed the Lumineon and then sobbed the Manaphy. but I ended up getting that counter catcher Pidgeot KO into boss KO with the Ursaluna, which was very cool.
Yeah, that was definitely cool. Yeah, I guess the Sob win condition is going to definitely be real moving forward because I think it has a lot more HP than the Mawile as well. I guess, which is a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah, very good.
You can trap more things with that. So yeah, there obviously wasn't like a ton of different deck selection to go with because we went with the criteria. Besides Raging Bolt, the main attacker had to be from Twilight Masquerade, but we did get to see quite a few of the newer decks there as well. Oh, I guess what did I want to ask next then? Oh yeah, like what would the I wanted to ask about the Hatterini. Is it just like there as like a counter to Greninja, or does it have that much more value besides that? It does have a lot of HP, I guess, but not that much more than Blissey.
Yeah, no, it was just for the Greninja for like this tournament thing, this mini meta game.
Yeah.
He got like really good calls on the matchups, like hitting the Blissey mirror when he played the Blissey tech, and then also choosing Dragapult or choosing Greninja into my Dragapult, which was definitely the worst of the matchups for me at that point. Besides like the Raging Bolt, but that was going to get a free win whenever, because that deck just seemed to pair up like really well against all the other options. So I kind of saw Raging Bolt as like the free win deck, and then sort of went from there to try and figure out what would have the best matchup spread as far as techs and things goes. Like I considered using the Luxray EX, but against the other decks that we could be playing, it didn't seem like the best option. So yeah, I'm happy with my we're both happy with our deck selections, I guess, because they were the same. But yeah, I'm happy with the techs I included. Even though the Hatterene didn't see any action, it definitely could have been good if I hit the Greninja.
Yeah, I was hoping to see someone bring up the Diplin. No one brought Diplin. I was like, there probably is a decent chance one of you brings Diplin, but maybe it's still not that good. Of course, it's gonna have a tough time against Dragapult. There was a lot of people in chat. I was gonna say that maybe there was some back and forth. It was more so just people hating on Dragapult more so than anything. You chose to bring the Charizard build. There's the Xatu build. There's the Pidgeot build. I guess like for right now, for how much you've tested, the games you just played up against and with Dragapult, is Dragapult? As of right now, do you think Dragapult's a tier 1 deck? Do you think it's going to be able to compete at the top? Is going to be a deck that is going to be a little bit more of a, I guess, like a polarizing factor in the meta where decks are going to have to play around it? Or is it just like another decent deck? Or is it even good?
I think it still has like a pretty good chance of being tier 1. If you asked me like a month and a half ago, I would have said like, well, it is the best deck, like by far S tier. But then this like Raging Bolt Ogerpon deck popped up, and it sort of made like a triangle between Dragapult, the Raging Bolt, and Charizard, where Pult can't beat the Raging Bolt deck. Raging Bolt can't beat Charizard, or can't, but Radiant Charizard's a problem, and then Charizard can't beat Dragapult. So having that like triangle sort of at the top is going to prevent Dragapult from being the best deck. But I still think it's really good, and I think there's a lot of room to explore with the deck, especially because like how strong of like the airmail effect on the stage 1 is. Like even if you can just find a deck with that just needs an engine, like a couple engine Pokemon, and then you can just put those in there. And if you're playing Fire and Psychic Energies, you can just include one Dragapult EX, and then it completely changes your like Charizard matchup and a bunch of different matchups, like Chen-Pao. If Charizard plays it, then Chen-Pao gets a lot better. So I think it's a very, very, very powerful card. It's just hard to power up, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing going into NAIC. Like, what's the best way to do that, and can people figure that out in time?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess like maybe like that's why we saw it be so successful immediately in Japan, and that's like its #1 selling point immediately. So it's your Charizard matchup is so good with Dragapult, right? Like you just sit there, you don't draw prize cards, you spread UTM Devo, or you just put a lot of pressure Charizard in a lot of ways as the Dragapult deck. So, but I guess like yeah, if you're coming up short against everything else that's good against Dragapult, I guess you might see an interesting meta where maybe Dragapult and Charizard can kind of coexist in the same meta at both like 10% play rates or something like that. So that'd be like an interesting development for sure.
Yeah. And after seeing like how strong that Ursaluna endgame was against Dragapult, like I might even look into like trying a Charizard build with like Ursaluna and Radiant Charizard, like that as the end game makes you like a lot more immune to the TM Devo stuff.
Yeah.
So that might be interesting. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
have to put some time into that.
Ursaluna seems super scary. I actually had like just kind of speaking towards Ursaluna a little bit. I had a game in Indianapolis Regional. I was playing Control where I was playing up against an Arctina, and my end game became Radzard with a Hero's Cape, so it couldn't get KO'd by Arceus, and I just penny looped it to win. So you can do similar stuff with Ursaluna, of course, right? Like so, and you had the penny in there to even potentially pick it up or use it in the Greninja deck. Yeah, Ursaluna is really scary. That is for certain. That card is super super scary. What do you think about Twilight Masquerade as a whole? I mean, this was a little bit more of a closed off kind of meta type deal where we're only dealing with Twilight Masquerade main attacker decks, but how it impacts the other decks like Lugia, like Gardevoir. What do you think about the format, the meta as a whole so far?
I think it's getting better. Like yeah, initially seeing Dragapult just like 30%, the mirror seems pretty awful. Like that didn't look very good, but now that the like Raging Bolt deck is in there, I think it's gonna change things for the better. Because like a lot of the decks I don't like are Iron Hands decks, obviously, like just run you off the board like Miraidon and Chen Pao. And those seem to be pretty bad against Raging Bolt. Which like because Raging Bolt just has so much HP, it's like and always gets the turn one KOs. Like you very rarely miss, and even the Sandy Shocks was like putting in work there. You can get that. So I like the fact that Raging Bolt is now the beat stick deck because it can't take extra prize cards. It's like a full board of 2 prizers. Like their options are pretty limited, but the deck is pretty interesting to play because there's a lot of like sequencing things with the Ogre Pawn abilities and like vessels and things. I mean, it's not that interesting of a deck, and the mirror sucks, but it's better than Iron Hands everywhere. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, definitely. I need to give it another shot. It's a deck I tried first the other day, and my list was probably a little bit undercooked, but it felt a little bit awkward. I really like the Sandy Shocks a lot because you can even like whiff. You can like it makes even like choosing second that much more powerful. I feel like because you can whiff Asada, but still get off a turn one attack just through Ogre Pawns plus the Sandy Shocks, and then you're not leaving a 2 prizer in your active. Because literally, what happened to me the first 2 games I played with the deck was I got the turn 1 Dragapult knockout, and then my opponent was like turn 2 attack with Dragapult into turn 3 attack with Dragapult, wipe both your Raging Bolts off the board with like counter catcher plays, and then Iono you. And I was just like, well, that feels really bad. But if you don't have a 2 prizer in your active, it makes it a little bit harder for them. So I really like the Sandy Shocks, to be honest. I'm definitely gonna try that out myself for sure.
Yeah, also gives you an answer to Mimikyu, which you definitely need for Guardy.
Yeah.
Guardy's a bit of a sketchy matchup either way, but yeah, I'm also happy about Twilight Masquerade making Guardy good again because I did not think Guardy was good the previous format, Temporal Forces, but because I agree with Grant Manley that the Charizard is super favored in that matchup.
That's probably I wish I had actually been able to like do more because I did the Ryan versus Grant match, but I want to get. It would have been nice to actually get more Charizard and Guardy players involved in that, to be honest, because that's probably the most polarizing matchup in the last format. I didn't really realize it towards the end, but the Guardy players, some of them think it's like slightly unfavorable. Some of them are very confident in it. And then the Charizard players are all confident against it. So actually, that's a matchup that would have been nice to like have some more top players on to kind of play that one out because there definitely was. People are very much on the extremes of both sides of the spectrum, like very good players on both sides. So it's definitely an interesting matchup that I would like to have a little bit more analysis on because it's never one I dived too deep into myself, or I don't think my group did kind of in general, except Grant. Grant's very confident in it, of course.
Yeah, I think it gets even more cool like this format with the Monkey Dory.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of good stuff you can do with the Drifloon math there. Because you can both put your Drifloon on an odd number, so you can hit for 330, and then also move 30 to like a second Charizard, so that your next Drifloon only needs an even number amount of damage counters, so you can hit 300 and like set up stuff like that, which is pretty cool. I also like one thing I forgot to mention about Twilight Masquerade in general is like I think the game designers are doing a good job with A-specs. For the first time, they're like one of cards are actually like you can play a bunch of different ones of them. Like we thought Prime Catcher at the start was going to be just insane, but the more the format develops, like some of the disruption or consistency or whatever power cards like Max Belt, like there's a good variety in that, which is really cool because like figuring out what A-spec your opponent is playing in a game 1 and then like adapting to it in games 2 and 3 and best 2 out of 3 is like sounds really fun.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. No, I agree as well. Yeah, Prime Catcher is definitely the neutrally just best out of them still, right? Probably. I mean, Unfair Stamp, honestly, playing up against it a couple times, it feels bad to play against Unfair Stamp, and they have it like turn two. The amount of Unfair Stamp turn twos I've played against so far is like feels a little bit unreasonable, and that definitely does not feel great to get turn two Unfair Stamped. But yeah, it is cool to see Prime Catcher not just be literally in every single deck like a lot of people thought it was going to be. I always say let's wait and see how things play out. And I feel like that usually leaving myself more neutral always feels better, so I don't get too much hate from the chat. Speaking of that, though, I've heard you mention a couple times in chat, because I brought it up a couple times, that you think Irida's really good in Guardy. Can you sell me on Irida in Guardy for anyone else who's not a believer in chat, and myself who's not a believer? Because I just don't understand how Arven is not better to find your Bravery Charms.
Yeah, so like basically the issue boils down to like that you have no trouble finding your bravery charms. Like it's very easy to find them mid to late game when you need them. And like also, so a lot of Guardy's matchups now are just Guardy EXs attacking, because you're doing 220 basically with the Monkey Dory. So you don't even need bravery charms in those matchups. You only need it for like the one-off one-hit KOs. And I guess in like a matchup with Charizard, you need the charms a bit more. But you should be able to find them if you just have a full board of refinements and Radiant Greninja in play. And the Irida lets you find Radiant Greninja turn one or your Manaphy, so you can use your like Buddy Poffins on like double Ralts. You don't have to go finding a Manaphy in a matchup where you need it. And you just have your Greninja, so many outs to the Greninja, which makes your turn ones so much better. And Guardy's really a deck where just if you set up, like you're gonna win a lot of the time. So I think you don't need Arvens as long as you're not playing the TM Evo. And I'm a big fan of the search for 3 stage ones A spec in Guardy. Just makes your turn twos like so much better. And if you're playing that, you don't really need the TM Evo, and at that point, you're not really using the Arven for anything but finding a one-off item randomly. Like you're only playing the Arven and Iridas on your first turn, maybe your second turn, and that's not when you need the Bravery Charms. When you need them is when you're going to be playing Iono anyway, or a Turo, or a boss.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my argument.
Yeah, I could definitely say I definitely have to give it a shot for sure. I'll have to try out both ways. Definitely excited to try out the Monkey Door in there. All right, well, Jake, congrats on the win again. It was great to have you back on another show match of sorts. Any shout outs? Where can the people find you? Coaching content. Go ahead, plug your stuff before I let you go here.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Gearhart, as most people already know. And I am actually going to start up doing coaching soon, but a little bit different from what most people do. I'm going to start doing like group sessions, teaching about deck building, and basically revisiting like historical formats as like a way to learn how to build decks. So I'll like teach people older formats, and then we'll add a new set, and they'll have to figure out what the next archetype was, how people built it, and then we'll look at actual results and compare what they thought was going to be good to what actually was good. And then yeah, it should be a lot of fun. The group session sounds really cool.
Yeah, that definitely sounds dope. So go follow Jake on Twitter so you know when he's dropping that. And yeah, good to have you on again as well, Jake. And I'll see you at a future event. I'm not sure if you're going to LA or not, but
yeah, I will be in LA leaving tomorrow morning.
All right, well, I'll see you there. Have a safe travels, and yeah, have a good one.